video?
Half the video that we're cutting was hot videos only. So Shilpa Shetty yoga videos and all those things.
When you get more trouble in life, or when you have more problems in life, you are getting better.
Yes.
How is that?
It is because
मुझे तो लगता है स्ट्रेस पड़ रहा है यार लाइफ में या फिर
people are definitely passionate यार. Rajamouli sir kept his house on mortgage for Bahubali 1. Like who does that? Whose character does that, you know? Bombay is a great place to be, especially when you're trying to study or do your first jobs, because what Bombay will teach you, no other place will. Like I went to meet Raj Comics owner in Delhi for Rana. Yeah.
What does he have a connection with the comic book?
Rana Daggubati invested in that company many years ago. We were the people like Spirit Media, Rana and Pratiksha, we were involved in taking Kalki to Comic Con. Kalki was the first movie from India that went to Comic Con.
And now we look at this series and like ये क्यों इन्होंने ये क्यों करने इनके पैसे की कमी है नहीं इन्होंने ये क्यों किया why taste
So art is supposed to like make you speak. That's the definition of art, right? Like whether good or bad.
it should make a dialogue around it
Yeah.
like others should
That's
discuss
it.
about it
So बना रहे हैं आपको नहीं देखना पसंद भी मत देखो.
हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका टफ स्टोरी पॉडकास्ट में। एक ऐसा शो जहां हम मिलते हैं इंस्पायरिंग लीडर्स और प्रोफेशनल्स से जो अपनी सफलता की कहानियां, चैलेंजेस और लर्निंग्स हमारे साथ शेयर करते हैं। आज के एपिसोड में हमारे साथ है मिस्टर राजीव रंजन, को-फाउंडर एंड सीओओ ऑफ स्पिरिट मीडिया, जो कंटेंट, मार्केटिंग, टैलेंट मैनेजमेंट और कंज्यूमर ब्रांड्स के स्पेस में लीडरशिप रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं। राजीव जी का कैरियर मीडिया और मार्केटिंग इंडस्ट्री में काफी इंसाइटफुल रहा है, इंक्लूडिंग हिज वर्क विद ByteDance एंड माइंडशेयर, जहां उन्होंने स्ट्रेटेजिक कैंपेन्स लीड किए थे। आज हम उनसे जानेंगे उनकी एंटरप्रेन्योरियल जर्नी, इंसाइटफुल थॉट्स और क्या है एक सक्सेसफुल बिजनेस ग्रोथ स्ट्रेटेजी। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का टफ स्टोरी।
to the podcast. How are you doing?
Thank you, Amit. Thank you very much. I'm doing very well. Yeah. Thanks a lot. How are you doing?
I am doing good. And मुझे आपकी जर्नी के बारे में जानना है. First thing first, आप कहाँ से हो? Like born and brought up which place?
I am basically from Jharkhand. My family is still there. I am from a small village, district called Latehar in Jharkhand. Now I think there's a new police station, but when I was growing up there, the nearest police station was 20 kilometers away.
Oh.
It's a Naxal impacted village, and I studied there till about 7th standard. Did my 10th from Jharkhand only, 12th from Jharkhand itself. So that's my base. Jharkhand is where I'm from.
So post 12th you moved to Delhi?
No. So बहुत सारे नॉर्थ इंडियंस दिल्ली जाते हैं एंड ऑफ कोर्स कलकत्ता वगैरह नज़दीक पड़ता है. बट मेरा थोड़ा जर्नी अलग हुआ बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स नॉर्थ में ना साइंस इज गिवन मोर इम्पॉर्टेंस बिकॉज यू आर ऑल फोकसिंग ऑन ट्राइंग टू बी इंजीनियर्स और ट्राइंग टू बिकम डॉक्टर्स. एंड आई डिड PCM 12th. इट वॉज इन हिंदी मीडियम.
Okay.
तो भौतिकी शास्त्र, रसायन शास्त्र, गणित विज्ञान पढ़ रहा था मैं.
Oh भाई साहब.
एंड उस समय 2004 बैच आया. उसमें 2 साल का एग्ज़ाम एक बार होता था 12th का. इट वॉज नॉट 11th एग्जाम, 12th एग्जाम.
Okay.
एंड आई डिड नॉट डू वेरी वेल.
So 11th आपका एग्जाम होता ही नहीं है, सीधा 12th का एग्जाम होता है. That's a standard.
दैट वॉज द स्टैंडर्ड बिफोर. अभी चेंज हो गया बट पहले वो था. एंड कॉन्टेक्स्ट, आई एम फ्रॉम अ टीचर्स फैमिली. सो माई ग्रैंड फादर इज अ रिटायर्ड हेड मास्टर नाउ. सो ही यूज्ड टू टीच इन द विलेज स्कूल आई यूज्ड टू स्टडी. एंड माई डैड ऑल्सो इज नाउ अ टीचर. ही बिकेम अ टीचर like much later in life, but he used to teach me while growing up. So घर पे education was given a lot of importance. So the reason I'm talking about this 12th का complications is because 10th में I did fairly well.
Okay.
पूरा गांव was very proud of me.
Okay.
That, good.
So गांव प्राउड हुआ मतलब either गांव छोटा था या फिर आपने बहुत एक्सेल किया?
गांव छोटा है. It's very intimate. It's the same bloodline people live there. You know how it is. हमारे यहाँ गुतिया बोलते हैं उनको. So everybody is somewhere from the same person, right?
All connected.
Yeah, and I was one of the first kids who were kind of studying outside of the village, like living in a small hostel in Daltonganj, and did fairly well. So it was really celebrated. कि ना इनका पोता है, इनका बेटा अच्छा कर रहा है, अच्छा करेगा. And 11th 12th में फिर वो साइंस हुआ और हिंदी में हो गया तो फिर. And unfortunately झारखंड में 11th 12th teaching capabilities were not really the best that time. So many people used to study by hearting things. और मेरा वो weak point है. Like if I understand something, I'll not forget for my life. But if I by heart something, वो तो मतलब guarantee उसका नहीं है. Like,
Okay.
So I did not do well in my 12th. I got a second division basically. I passed, but second class, and that was looked down upon. And
Second is like around 70%.
no, second class means below 60. So the bifurcation is 35% is pass, 45 to 60 is second division, 60 onwards is good, 75 plus distinction. That's how it is. So second class means I got like around 50% somewhere.
Okay.
Which was not celebrated and frowned upon, and said, you know what, another guy bites the dust. And even family was going through some financial problems. Mom had some surgeries to take care of her spondylitis that time. And gaon hai, so we are basically, while grandfather was a teacher, dad was a teacher, essentially we are farmers, farming.
Right.
And because of lack of the water supplies and all that, it's a rain season farming. So we do mostly paddy and some pulses, some wheat and all that. That's the kind of vibe. So after they thought that I might not be doing well in studies, so thank you very much. So
You're from a farmer's family, you're saying?
Yeah. And then they thought, okay, now that he's not showing results and XYZ, and plus mom was going through that problem. So cash flow used to be an issue because again farming, that's why the context, right? So they said, now you're on your own, figure life. And I did. I mean, that's when I left my home at a very early age. I think I was 15. So 2005, 4 only I left my home. Came to Ranchi, started working because I had to figure something. And one thing for sure, I always wanted to do something in life. Motivation tha. Did not know what, did not know where, had no one to kind of guide or, inspire or be a reference point per se.
Got it.
जो भी थे वो वही गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स वाले थे या फिर डॉक्टर्स इंजीनियर्स एंड
या फिर योर ग्रैंडफादर हु वाज इनटू टीचिंग, दैट वाज वन, एक वो आइडिया होता है, मतलब फैमिली में अगर कोई आगे बढ़ के कुछ बना नहीं है तो मोटिवेशन होता ही नहीं किसी और को कि करना क्या है, डायरेक्शनलेस,
पता ही नहीं होता है ना. एंड टीचिंग इज़ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज माई ग्रैंडफादर, हमारे ना स्कूल में टीचर्स कम होते थे पहले, अभी भी कम है. Like right now in Jharkhand, my dad runs a school, which is a primary school, so 5th class, government school. He's the only teacher. He manages 5 classes. तो
प्रिंसिपल भी वही है, टीचर भी वही है, सब वही है. और
प्लस जो भी काम होता है गवर्नमेंट से टू क्रिएट लाइक अ वॉशरूम एंड ऑल दैट, जो ठेकेदारी आती है उन्हीं को करना पड़ता है,
सब उनको ही करना है.
मिड डे मील चल रहा है वही उनको देखना पड़ता है. सो इट्स अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अ चैलेंज देयर. सो बिकॉज आई वॉज गुड विथ मैथ्स एंड इंग्लिश, I started teaching my school while I was there. So, of course, younger classes. So, I would go give them translation, teach them tenses, those kind of things. So, teaching was, of course, there. But I wanted to do something in life. There was some calling for sure, which told me that, you know what, life is not this. Something has to
यहाँ से निकलो, कहीं जाओ.
Yeah. So, Ranchi आ गया. Ranchi में फिर मैंने 1 साल बिताए. वहाँ पे बहुत सारा काम किया. Lot of odd jobs. We did about timeshare vacations होते थे. Club Mahindra type. Where you sell membership for people to do holidays and those things. Which kind of helped my communication because पहले तो अंग्रेजी आती नहीं थी. झारखंड में तो मतलब barely spoke anywhere.
और सीधा लोगों को भी कुछ बेचना है तो सीखना पड़ेगा, चैलेंज है.
वो भी हिंदी में था but still communication like वो at least क्या बोलते हैं उसको, picture painting or dream दिखाना and trying to close a deal etc. was.
So was it for Mahindra or something else?
No, it was called Endless Vacations. It was not Mahindra. It was something like Mahindra because nobody knows that name, so I use that as a reference. But that was the format. And then because I wanted to study, I was thinking of doing something, and I realized I can probably do commerce because science में marks कम आए थे, and following science was just nowhere on the radar. One of my Fufaji, who was my dad's first cousin's husband, he knew that okay, this guy is good in studies, and he is somebody who can communicate and all that. So he used to keep checking on me, and he used to live in Bombay.
Okay.
So he used to run a wholesale cloth selling shop in Bombay with some of his partners. So he also kind of came to Bombay on his own, struggled, and finally he was running that shop. And when he learned about me leaving home and being in Ranchi, he told my mom that he'll try and figure with me how he can get me to Bombay. And he met me and he said, listen, I'm going to try and help you come to Bombay with me. We'll figure things there. And I wanted to study. I told him that, listen, because I know nothing will change my life. What will change my life is education. Otherwise,
it won't work.
It won't work out. And he was very kind. He's responsible for the first step of life-changing moment. So I'm very thankful to him. And he got me to Bombay. But his vision was something else. His vision was that, I have a shop. don't have somebody who can take care of it, somebody I can trust. So if there is Rajeev who will be here, I'll be able to go out in the market, do more deals and those kind of things.
A helping hand basically.
हाँ, and trustworthy helping hand. तो मतलब because उनके पास लोग थे, staff था, but somebody from back home etc. becomes easy to deal.
Because I come from a business family, I relate to that because हमारे जितने सर्कल्स में लोग होते हैं, गुजराती में हो, मारवाड़ी में हो, लोग अपने गांव से अपने मौसी के बच्चों को, फूफा के बच्चों को लेके आते हैं जस्ट टू मेक श्योर कि आप आओ, यहाँ बैठो, काउंटर पे बैठो, कुछ मत करो, पैसा ही गिनना है. इनफैक्ट दे गिव देम द बिगेस्ट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. पैसे पे भरोसा कर लेते हैं. बट द पॉइंट इज कि अपना बंदा है, एक टेंशन चला गया, हम बाहर कहीं जाना है तो वी कैन गो आउट, वी कैन डू अदर एक्सपेंशन करना है, कुछ भी करना है, दे गेट द पीपल. एंड दैट वे जो लोग गांव में हैं उनको भी एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है बाहर आके रहने का खर्चा सॉर्टेड, खाने पीने का काम सॉर्टेड, एंड दे गेटिंग फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस, जिसको आजकल इंटर्नशिप बोला जाता है, जिसके लिए लोग मरते रहते हैं. दे आर इनवाइटेड पे, आओ भाई आके सीख लो.
बिल्कुल, बस यही थॉट था. बट थोड़ा सा उसमें कॉन्फ्लिक्ट वही था हल्का सा, विच वॉज लाइक नहीं पापा जी मुझे पढ़ना है, बिकॉज my goal is something else, because his was that I will open a shop for you in Ranchi eventually after 6-7 years.
Understood.
I'm like ये मेरे को शायद नहीं करना है. It was not exciting enough for me per se. So while I took that up because I had no options, and I lived in his shop only because at home Bombay is small places. So my first interaction with Bombay, 20th March 2005 was the time I landed in Bombay.
But जब आप झारखंड से आए हो, जहाँ गाँव से आप जब आते हो, then how can there be a bigger struggle than seeing it like a step by step upgrade only? आप वहाँ से रांची आए, रांची से मुंबई आए हो, मुंबई से अपग्रेड, हैदराबाद अपग्रेड, मैं तो बोलूँगा being a हैदराबादी.
It's an upgrade for sure. मैं तो बोलूँगा, people might not like it, my friends might hate
I know.
but it is an upgrade for sure. Bombay is a great place to be, especially when you're trying to study or do your first jobs, because what Bombay will teach you, no other place will. So today, whatever I am is all thanks to Bombay. My work culture, my way of approaching people, my way of dealing with things is all because of Bombay. But whether I will choose to live in Bombay now, it's a question that will take some.
Maybe you're now in the comfort zone space.
Absolutely.
That's one reason.
Yeah. So,
अगर आप 10 साल पहले जाते हो तो वापस you'll say I'll start from Bombay only again.
100%. And I would, even for anybody young in this world, and any Indian, honestly, if they have a chance, do your college in Bombay, at least do your first few jobs in Bombay.
But watching at the movies, everyone, सबको लगता है कि सपनों का शहर है बॉम्बे, सबको लगता है कि they'll kickstart something, और most of them actually fail in Bombay because सब सपने देखते हैं कि हम बड़ा आदमी बनेंगे, बड़ा एक्टर बनेंगे, मूवी में चले जाएंगे, या फिर I'll be a big businessman, but not everyone is able to achieve that, right? तो कितने लोगों का तो दिल टूटता है बॉम्बे जाके. इनफैक्ट हैदराबाद जैसे शहर, छोटे शहर में आ जाओ जहाँ पे सब इक्वल है यार, यहाँ पे ना सब इक्वल दिखता है मुझे. लाइक ऐसा नहीं कि हम पैसे वाले हैं, मेरा बाप कौन है, वो सीन नहीं है यहाँ पे. एवरीवन इज ग्राउंडेड. Bombay also is something similar, but just saying that I don't see everyone tasting success in Bombay.
100%. But what is a failure in Bombay is a super success in somewhere else, right?
True.
So once आप Bombay में fail होके कहीं और भी आते हो ना, तो जहाँ
आराम से achieve कर लोगे.
Exactly. So it's that I'm talking about, that learning that okay, you know what hustle mindset is, how a city runs 24/7 and how it gets back up after adversity is something amazing to learn from that city.
Is it also because Bombay is a fast moving world, like same like Delhi? मुझे Delhi, Bombay मुझे दोनों similar लगते हैं. Whenever I used to go to Delhi during my young age to my mama's place, same concept, मामा की दुकान पे जाके summer टाइम पास करना है, but you learn few things and I see that भाई इनके पास दुकान में माल नहीं है, इनके पास कोई इन्वेंट्री नहीं है, and they are selling everything. कस्टमर जो आता है सब yes हमारे गोदाम है. गोदाम क्या है, किसी और की दुकान है. So you learn those things. When I'm coming back to Hyderabad, it's like chill life, निज़ाम्स, आराम से. भाई नहीं है माल, नहीं है, जाओ.
नहीं so
Delhi, Bombay
ना थोड़ा bashing हो रहा है हल्का सा. So let me tell you, Hyderabad is something that I don't always like about the laid back thing, because of being a Bombay person. Like I'm an asset light person, so I never bought a car before coming to Hyderabad, because यहाँ पे Uber Ola का मतलब भरोसा ही नहीं था. There have been times when people actually drove all the way 10 minutes to come pick me up at Lanco Hills, and suddenly they stop saying चाय पीना है सर, मैं आज नहीं आगे नहीं जा रहा हूँ. I'm like, what happened? And this is something that happened constantly many times. तो वो comfort zone is not a great thing for a city at times, is what my reading is. But वही है Bombay के बारे में, because if you are young and if you are somebody who is trying to, let's say, do your graduation or even masters or doing your first jobs, if you spend 1 or 2 years in Bombay, it's not about failing and all that. The city will teach you life. Like लोग बोलते हैं ना बाहर वर्ल्ड में, if you are from India, you will succeed anywhere else.
Right.
In India, if you're from Bombay, you will succeed anywhere else. That's the line I want to leave.
So what you suggest is like हर youngster को एक बार तो बॉम्बे जाके 1-2 साल निकालना चाहिए.
100%.
They'll learn more than what they would have learned in other cities.
Correct.
But then Hyderabad also is not bad either. I mean, आपका cab issue एक I understand. But apart from that, the laid back attitude is actually cool, man. I mean, मुझे अच्छा लगता है कि I feel driving in Hyderabad is more safer when I compare it with Delhi context because I have family in extended family in Delhi. और मैं जब भी दिल्ली जाता हूँ तो एयरपोर्ट से उतरते ही शॉफर आता है, वाइट कैप, वाइट क्लोथ्स एंड एवरीथिंग, हेलो सर, वेलकम, हिज नेम प्लेट सब है. और जैसे ही रोड पे आते हैं वो शॉफर से ड्राइवर बन के सीधा वो गाली गलौज खिड़की खोल के सीधे चिल्लाना शुरू हो जाएगा बाहर वाले के ऊपर. एंड देन यू फील लाइक किसी को टच कर दी गाड़ी तो लिटरली हाथ चल जाते हैं. हैदराबाद में ऐसा नहीं होता है. गाड़ी ठुक गई तो दोनों को पता है वो पैसे देने से रहा, ये कोई नहीं दे रहा है, तो क्या बोलेंगे, एक दूसरे को थोड़ा गुस्से से देखेंगे एंड देन यू मूव ऑन. द पॉइंट इज एक्सीडेंट जानबूझ के नहीं होते हैं, इसीलिए तो उसको एक्सीडेंट बोला जाता है. इट्स नॉट अ वांटेडली डन थिंग. और लोग उसमें गुस्सा हो जाते हैं और वो डर भी लगता है कभी अनकॉन्शियसली एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो ले लेंगे दिल्ली वाले. तो यहाँ चिल्ड आउट है.
So again, Bombay, Delhi and Hyderabad. Delhi now is a different context altogether. And I completely agree with you. That's why I don't prefer myself. But you have to also go in the history of the city. You know why Delhi is like that? Like, because I have had a lot of friends from there. I also have some friends there. I don't like Delhi to live in myself.
So why do you think? Why is the aggression happening?
Delhi as an area was attacked so many times through and through that it's like inbound in people who have kind of lived there. It's like a natural skill ki by fight. Straight up.
No settlement.
No settlement. Haryanvis also because they are people who fight because they've always been Panipat,
Jat,
सब कुछ वही हुआ है ना. So they've been fighting on and off for generations. So that has.
But यहाँ भी तो निज़ाम भी तो हम लड़े ही हैं वैसे तो मतलब.
How many wars, like active wars, have happened here?
No, I'm a Gajini, so yeah, I'll context back. भूल जाओ history, but.
But because of Mughals, all those things, it happened a lot more in Delhi. So,
but what has that to do with the new generation? Why can't they chill down? And
not justifying that, I'm just saying this was one of the reasons that
few of my friends from Delhi they chill.
Yeah.
But वो chill करने के लिए सीधा फिर कसौली चले जाते हैं. They talk about some other chill. We are not talking about that chill here.
True.
But most people are always. I'm not judging every Delhi guys. I mean, don't hate me on that for that. But just saying कि जितने भी लोग हैं ना वो आराम से AC रूम में ठंडे होते हैं, बाहर आते गर्म हो जाते हैं for no reason.
They won't hate you for this because they also talk about the same things what you're talking about, honestly. I've been to many Delhi parties and ultimately it becomes Delhi Bombay, Delhi this, Delhi that and all that. And they also agree with many things that are there. It's a fact. Nobody can kind of deny that.
Because I noticed South of India वो एक अच्छा है कि थोड़ा cool down है लोग.
Best part of the country for me. I really believe that somewhere I'm wired like a South Indian. I choose to be here. I chose to be in Bangalore. I chose to be in Hyderabad. I chose to settle here right now because I love this part of the country for sure. उसमें तो मतलब कोई debate ही नहीं है. But yeah, some things can always improve. Delhi can improve on few things. Bombay can improve on few things. Hyderabad can also improve on few things.
True.
वो हर जगह होता है. To be very, I think, self-aware about those facts.
I know. चलिए, let's talk about your Bombay journey. So you, आपके फूफा जी के यहाँ कहीं थे आप?
हाँ जी.
So what did you study there?
So पहले
and did he even allow you to do that?
Yeah. So पहले तो first was like seeing the chawl life in Bombay because that's where I used to live. It was a Marine Lines, Chandanwadi area. And I used to go to his house to eat food and all that and sleep at the shop. कपड़े का दुकान में गद्दा होता है एक. That was my bed for the night and daytime get freshened up etc. Start work. We didn't discuss too much studies and all that because I thought there's no point discussing debating with him. I just took up the responsibility. But every day I would spend time researching on colleges and walking to colleges, figuring things out. And thankfully उनकी जो दुकान थी वो थी Marine Lines के पास. तो वहाँ से ना सिडनम कॉलेज, HR कॉलेज, जय हिंद, Xavier सब आसपास थे. I was able to even Winston for that exam that reason. So I was able to go and figure these colleges का क्या उनका intake क्या है, what is the percentage required cutoff क्या होता है, and just do enough research because I was there in like I said 20th March. So July is when the admissions kind of get finalized, and that time I learned that Xavier's has like a night college for commerce, and that was for working people.
Night college for working people. Okay.
Yeah, and that was the only commerce class because it was started by a priest who was more about helping people who are kind of underprivileged, let's say. And they will only give admission to people who are working. Like,
So you're referring to Xavier's?
Xavier's Bombay.
These Xavier's,
Those Xavier's
famous
Bombay,
one.
the best
Okay.
college in the country that has a night college for commerce students, still has.
Okay.
And they were ranked number 1 in 2005 as well by India
Okay.
Today for the commerce, because India Today was judging that time for intake percentage and outtake percentage. तो उसमें SRC वगैरह, because they take only at 90%, people go at 70%, so you don't really show the transition. Xavier's takes you at 35-40% also, because you're working in canteens and all that, but you go at 45%, 40%, so that's a kind of growth, right? So they were ranked number 1. That's the only year they featured, because after that there was a lot of backlash from colleges कि वो night college है, working people के लिए you can't rank them and all that. But that was the year when I learned about that, and I was like, this college is where I want to be, because I saw that they had structure, they had proper classes, no need to go take tuitions, because
So it's something like the IGNOU, Indira Gandhi National Open.
IGNOU don't have classes.
That's a open completely घर पे होता है.
This is where 75% attendance is compulsory. अगर आप 75 नहीं करते हो, आपको एग्जाम नहीं देने अलाउ करेंगे वहाँ पे. So this is like a proper college.
And what time was that?
6:20 to 9:30 every day, and on Saturdays I think it was till 10:30.
Call it evening college kind of. 9:30 तक ही तो मतलब.
हाँ, you can say evening college, but we used to say the word night, so night आता है.
Understood, हाँ.
But it's evening college. You're right. 6:30 to 9:20 on till Friday. Saturdays was longer. It was I think till 10:30.
Okay.
So I started aiming for that, because the fee was low, because Xavier's, they are more about social good, and Father El Fernandez, who was the vice principal there, I kept trying to meet him and all that, and I was not working in a corporate. तो फूफा जी का दुकान है, that's not really job for them. So they were like, नहीं, plus came from Jharkhand, थोड़ा सा North Indian look and feel. They thought this guy is just here to become some model or hero, whatever it is. He's not really interested in studies. So they were like, नहीं, तेरा तो नहीं होने वाला है यहाँ पे.
So did you try modeling at the same time?
नहीं यार, I first focused on Xavier's. पहले तो कि इस कॉलेज में जाना ही जाना है, because it'll be I knew this life will change from here. So I went there every day, evening 6:20 to 9:30, standing outside the principal's cabin, कि मुझे यहीं पे एडमिशन लेना ही है. And after seeing my perseverance, and again I couldn't talk also that time, like अंग्रेजी आती नहीं थी बिल्कुल. So it was, when they spoke to me, it was very broken. I used to be able to explain, because I'm self-doubting myself, self-checking my grammar and all that. तो अलग ही सीन था. And finally I convinced them to take my entrance test, saying that I'll deliver. So they gave me some accounts question, which I could not solve because मैं science से था. Some economics question where I took logical approach, because वही पढ़ा नहीं था पहले. Out of 3, 1 I solved. Math was my saving grace, because math I knew, that was my strong suit. And math में सलूजा सर वहाँ पे थे, अभी भी याद है मुझे. And I did fairly well, and then he said कि कर लेगा. And then they said, okay, we'll see for 6 months and decide. मतलब अगर if you're not performing, because they still doubted that I'm working, which was true, but they were not getting paper, certificate, वो सब नहीं था हमारे पास.
कुछ नहीं
क्या
था,
दिखाते आप? And July is when I started my college journey at Xavier's. I was very proud. I'm a very proud Xavierite. And again, like, first change happened because Fufaji said come to Bombay. Second, and the biggest change of life happened because Xavier said come to Xavier's. And it is those Xavier's where all the big guys have studied from.
So when you were trying to get an admission at Xavier's, क्या दूसरे लोग भी वहीं पर लाइन पे खड़े रहते थे?
Yeah, there were some people.
Because the reason why I'm asking is because जब कॉलेज की बात आती है तो नॉर्मली कॉलेज तो हम बंक मारने जाते हैं, एडमिशन तो ऐसे ही मिल जाता है.
Yes.
While you are saying that I am waiting for the principal to give me admission or take my exam.
Yeah.
तो I think उस टाइम में हो सकता है इतना
नहीं लोग थे वहाँ पे, बट अगेन दे वर ऑल इन द सेम डाउटफुल कैटेगरी कि ये लोग ना दे आर नॉट वर्किंग, बट बिकॉज उनके परसेंटेज इतने कम है वो कहीं और एडमिशन नहीं ले सकते, तो यहाँ पे खड़े हो. सो दैट
वर्किंग का बहाना लेके शाम की कॉलेज में आने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
बिकॉज Xavier's का नाम था ना, सो दे वर वेरी, because only I think 132 sections, 130 each was the intake that time, and they were very categorically about only getting working students. That was a very good strategy and still is.
So you studied there for 3 years?
Yes, actually 4 years. I dropped a year in my 3rd year, so 4 years in Xavier's I studied.
Okay.
2005 I started, 2009 I graduated. 4 साल में बिताया मैंने.
And what did you graduate? What was
Commerce.
Commerce.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bachelor of Commerce. Commerce is the only evening college there.
BCom के लिए ये सब किया. Okay.
मैं साइंस से था ना, पता नहीं था उतना कुछ मुझे, मतलब कैसे. अच्छा. प्लस मेरे डैड कॉमर्स से थे, तो उन्होंने बोल दिया कि तेरे से साइंस हुआ नहीं तो कॉमर्स भी इतना ईजी नहीं है, मतलब डोंट थिंक दैट यू विल विंग इट. बट करना पड़ा वहाँ पे, वही है, the rules है.
And then did you go for further education like MCom or something?
नहीं, so after Xavier's, many things happened at Xavier's, right? First is a lot of new friends were made from different backgrounds, right? From the person that I was, that used to think that only engineers and doctors can have a career, those things. I met people who are trying to chase interest. तो मतलब पहली बार देखा लाइफ में कि अरे इंटरेस्ट भी आपका करियर बन सकता है. Like,
what do you mean interest?
So people who are like, let's say
passionate, you're saying?
Passionate about dancing, they're trying to figure कि भाई मैं पढ़ लूँगा बेसिक्स, पर मेरा गोल वही है, मुझे ना पढ़ाई में उतना सिर्फ पास करना है, बट मुझे अल्टीमेटली डांसर बनना है, मुझे एक्टर बनना है, थिएटर भी कर रहे हैं साइड में, मतलब एंड स्टाइलिस्ट हैं, एंड दे आर बिकॉज दे फाउंड देयर इंटरेस्ट. कुछ फोटोग्राफर्स हैं, उनको भाई मुझे ना DOP बनना है, लाइक दे न्यू दैट. सो मीटिंग दीज पीपल ओपन अ न्यू पार्ट ऑफ माई ब्रेन कि भाई ये भी होता है, यू नो, यू कैन एक्चुअली परस्यू समथिंग दैट यू एंजॉय एज अ करियर. तो Xavier's में again, in Xavier's only I started taking jobs because Fufa ji, I kind of got busy with my college. So he said, you know what, you can take another job as well. So I wanted to also learn more about the industries. तो मेरा पहला job मैंने लिया था वो था My Dollar store at Phoenix Mall.
Okay.
In Bombay, which was a retail store.
Dollar store.
And I would sell things. Because again, communication was the key for me. I wanted to learn that first. I didn't take up call center jobs and all that because they would pay more, but I took jobs where I could interact with people. तो 6 महीने मैंने वहाँ पे काम किया. Then I joined Motilal Oswal. I did about share trading because retail, finance, they were part of commerce. So I was genuinely putting all efforts in learning the best of my class, and I became good. From first 6 months itself, I was highest in accounts, highest in maths through and through. I've got all the scholarships at Xavier's for preserving student, all those things. Also went to Harvard for exchange student program from Xavier's. There were 10 people who went to Harvard for exchange program, so one of them was me. So Xavier's was like a life-changing moment. All these added a lot of confidence, a lot of self-belief, a lot of strategy about how to live life, how to deal life, and a lot of references that were lacking before, right? Like how to look at people and plan your career, where to go, where to ask questions, how to find your mentors, basically. So, uske baad, that's why, so MCom and all that was not the goal. The goal was to find my calling first. And then going back to Jharkhand, when I was growing up, when I was introduced to comic books and films, I loved both to these. Like I think in my 8th standard, I actually was running like a small library system for comic books. So Raj Comics, Nagaraj, Commando Dhruv, and these guys were superheroes of North. And we would take 2 rupees for somebody who wanted to borrow the comic book. And if you have a new comic book, I have a new one, we have both not read each other's, then free exchange.
Free exchange.
But somebody had to
security deposit.
Yeah, somebody had to note down about who is taking from who. So it travels back in that. So I was running that in my class. So comic book was my first interest. And when I was introduced to movies, which was very late in my life, I was like, dude, this is fantastic. I loved watching movies, which I think many kids do. But after coming to Bombay, I'm like, you know, because ye cheez was my passion and I really enjoyed it. Maybe try to see if there is some calling connection, right? Because I saw the energy between people who were trying to chase passion versus they were trying to chase duties. वो दिखा मेरे को फर्क वहाँ पे in the canteen, college canteen. And right in my 3rd year, I had joined because I was looking for a media specific job. अब like कहीं मिल जाए मुझे, just to understand how this works, how this TV works, film works, and all that. And Neo Sports used to have a production department called Nimbus Communications. They used to produce TV serials.
Okay. And
2008 is when I joined them after multiple rounds of interviews, where I was responsible for cutting content for your Hutch GPRS and Airtel GPRS and all those things. So you would take your TV shows and yoga videos and music videos, make 30 seconds cuts out of those. And there was a big team, editors, transcribers, you know, people used to convert them into 3GP format, MP4, depending on what phone supports, and upload them. So that's how I got into kind of media for the first time. So there was no money in the bank to be able to support my future education, and I was not in a hurry because I realized, let me just find my calling, what I want to do, and then pursue further education. Not really the need right now because I had done enough work, I was getting decent salary, I was able to survive in Bombay, which was the problem in year 1. But by the time I graduated, because of Xavier's stamp and all those things were fairly easy by then.
It got smoother.
Very, very smooth.
But let me circle back to a question. You're talking about interests and duties.
Yeah.
Okay. आपने कितने लोगों को लाइफ में देखा है जो 3 इडियट्स टाइप में एक्चुअली सक्सेसफुल हुए हैं अपने पैशन के पीछे भाग के हुए? बिकॉज आई हैव रेयरली फाउंड समवन हु is seen big time profits, or you can say success, by just following his passion, because most of them actually eventually fail, or eventually duties आ गई जाती है कि भाई फैमिली प्रेशर है, डेट्स है, जो भी है. आफ्टर अ वाइल दे फील दैट जितना भी पैशन के पीछे मैं भागा हूँ अल्टीमेटली तो मुझे ड्यूटी के लिए फोकस करना ही पड़ेगा. आई विल हैव टू मूव फ्रॉम माई पैशन पार्ट. Did you ever see many people in your life who
Yes, of course. I mean, if you are somebody who's just trying to chase passion blindly, it'll happen. But if you are somebody who's being practical about it, what I mean by that is that you are trying to at least tick the right boxes, that in case if you fall, there is some kind of a saving net for you to like plan your, like I said, the guys who were trying to chase dancing or let's say fashion designing or acting, they were still studying. They knew that I have to do this to be able to, in case it doesn't work out, I'll still have a plan B. So one has to always keep plan B, especially people with our background. I have to keep plan C, plan D at all times. वो करना पड़ता है. If you don't keep, if you're only chasing your passion without any backup, sometimes it works, but that success rate is very less. It works.
It's way less, right?
Yeah.
I mean the way I feel it's a overrated thing. सबको बोला जाता है कि पैशन के पीछे भागो.
नहीं अगर पैसा घर पे नहीं है तो ऐसा मत करो प्लीज. First get your like check your boxes about knowing that in case.
I mean once you get rich you become a philosopher.
Yeah, that's Shah Rukh Khan's line. I'll not kind of say that, but yeah, that's true. What he says is completely agree with. That first you have to take care of your basic needs.
But most of the people end up their life just for the basic needs. Life keeps running, moving faster. Life ऐसे भाग रही कि आप सोच भी नहीं पाते कि मैं अच्छा अभी 3 साल के बाद तो मैं रिटायर हो जाऊंगा, सब कुछ खत्म है, उसके बाद मैं अपने पैशन की तरफ जाऊंगा. आई वांट टू डू फार्मिंग ऑल माई लाइफ, आई कीप प्लानिंग. 3 years later you realize कि now there's kids education popping up. Again work. Okay, education हो गया, बेटा sorted है, by the time it's wedding time, और कुछ ना कुछ चलता है लाइफ में. So most people are stuck in that life cycle that they can't come out of that zone to do what they actually wanted to do. I mean I believe काफ़ी लोग बोलते हैं कि मैं पैशन फॉलो कर रहा हूँ, मैंने लाइफ में बहुत सक्सेस देख लिया है. I wanted to genuinely ask that कि did you really accomplish what you really wanted to do?
नहीं, बहुत लोग ना सिर्फ बोलने के लिए बोलते हैं, तो अच्छा लगता है बोलना कि मैं फार्मिंग करूंगा और मैं फार्म हाउस जाके 10 मालूंगा एंड ऑल दैट. जिनको करना होता है वो कर लेते हैं यार. That is one. And part 2 is life is always moving for sure, you're right. But if you have to take control of life, you have to move faster. And that's where I think I'm going to drive this point because Bombay helped me with that, right? You have to, for me, like when life and problems get tougher, I lead life like a video game. So when your problems are becoming more and more, which means you're doing well, simply. So I just play it better. It's like that, right? When you're playing video games at home, if you're getting to next level, you have to play that harder to be able to go ahead. And goal is to go to next level, right? तो थोड़ा सा fast खेलना पड़ेगा आपको life and plan for it. And
I'll just circle back what you just said. It's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
When you get more trouble in life, or when you have more problems in life, you are getting better.
Yes.
How is that?
It is because
मुझे तो लगता है स्ट्रेस बढ़ रहा है यार लाइफ में. शांति है अब. मैं like I just hit 40 this year. I'm like अब GST department is calling me, some property tax guys are calling me, like क्यों यार शांति रखो ना, नहीं चाहिए. So how is that helpful?
No, see, you have to like I think
you have to be busy in life.
No, busy in life नहीं. So when you do certain things 3-4 times, you attain expertise, right? बोलते हैं ना mastery in economics. I learned that word in again Xavier's. So once you attain mastery, it becomes easy to do it. Otherwise, you delegate to somebody else.
Right.
Then you find newer problem to solve. So for me, it's newer problem. It's not more of the same problem. It's about newer problems. If you're getting newer problems, it means life is progressing ahead. And I think it's to do with a lot of my Bombay culture because 10 साल बिताया वहाँ पे ना मैं. I can't live in slow life. Like it really bites me. It will make me restless. तो मेरा उल्टा है. Like if I am busy, like I'll wake up and I'll start working. I don't take time to about like अच्छा मुझे recharge होना है, बैठना and all that. And even when I go home from office, if I have some house chores to do, I'll do it right there and then. I would rather sleep with all my check boxes done I'll not leave anything for tomorrow.
I can relate to that. Like I am something like that.
Yeah.
मेरा अगर दिन खाली है, like I'm going on a holiday also, I'm worried like मैं करूँगा क्या पूरे दिन, अगर कुछ काम नहीं है तो मैं क्या करूँगा? I need some work. I'll take others works also, like खत्म करना क्या है, check in करना है, check out करना है, जो भी है पहले करते जाओ.
Exactly.
But that's also a problem, right? I mean, eventually
it is, but you have to accept something know about yourself. If you keep questioning कि नहीं यार ये ठीक नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है, but कुछ भी ठीक नहीं है फिर ना. Like I realize that I like being busy. I'm happy about that. So if somebody gives me work, even if like they are judging me because अरे ये तो बहुत काम करता रहता है, मुझे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मेरा नेचर वैसा है. I'm not like I'm happy about it.
And that's a person to person thing, right? I mean,
yeah, you have to start accepting yourself. I realize that. I used to question also, like मैं आराम नहीं करता, मैं ना chill नहीं करता ज़्यादा, मतलब. But that's me. I like that because it adds value. It gives knowledge. I'm always somebody who's able to add value in a room, right? I'm always able to solve problems. People come to me for solutions. I like those things. So I prefer to always work. Like in my entire journey, I also spent a year in Goa. And that was my, like, everybody gets very happy. Oh my God, Goa, 1 year. Like, how amazing. But no, it wasn't. Like, it was so slow that I'm like, I can't do this. Like, retirement life, maybe I can live there. But I had to find people online to talk to them to be able to keep my brain engaged, you know. So I'm like that. But to each their own, you have to accept yourself. No matter who you are, just be like, this is my way and I'm going to be happy about it. तो मेरा तो वही लाइफ में है कि भाई नए प्रॉब्लम्स आ रहे हैं, मतलब लाइफ ठीक चल रही है, I'm growing ahead. It's good. Let's keep like knocking them out of the park and keep moving ahead. It's just a way to live life and be happy, not be like यार क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ. Because वो हो गया तो फिर तो वही करते रहोगे आप.
That's an interesting point of looking at the whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most of the people who are watching you should try to take it as a positive inspiration कि लाइफ में बहुत चीज़ें चल रही हैं तो भाई मस्त चल रही है लाइफ. लगे रहो बस. It was in your destiny that you had to do this.
Yeah, and when absolutely, and that's when I remember all these moments, you know, because sometimes to self motivate yourself, you have to pat your own back. Expecting कि मेरा बॉस करेगा, मेरे पापा करेंगे, दादाजी करेंगे, नहीं होता. तो keep those moments in yourself. Whenever you're feeling down, tell yourself कि मैंने ये भी किया है, मैं कर लूँगा ये. And if you have too many problems, try and solve the smallest one. Because it's about solving. If you solve one thing, no, that's a rhythm. Then you keep solving more things. Don't pick the biggest problem first. Because then you'll get overwhelmed. So ये सारे मेरे tactics हैं, which have helped me in life a lot and they're still helping me. These are my own approaches towards my life, which kind of helps me be happy. And not be like यार ये नहीं चल रहा है, वो नहीं चल रहा है, वैसे नहीं मिल रहा है, मेरे पास ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है, वो तो ठीक है, हो जाएगा, कोई बात नहीं है. It's about a process.
So let's circle back to Xavier's and your first job you just mentioned about that. तो वहाँ से फिर कैसे चला? Like why did you shift your jobs?
That's a very good question, and I have justified this in many times in many interviews. So I have a perfect answer for this because again, I was somebody who moved from Jharkhand and who knew very basic stuff about life, right? When I moved to commerce, I didn't take commerce as a BCom, honestly. I took commerce as a subject that would teach me life, right? Everything. So first year में, semester 1 में marketing था. So I joined a retail store because window dressing क्या होता है, वो सब क्या होता है. You understand that and you practically kind of, you're not really doing everything but marketing, but you understand brand.
So does it mean that I notice you're quite sorted in your mind, like you understood why you're doing few things. Like नॉर्मली बीकॉम वाले लड़के को किसी को पूछोगे ना कि बीकॉम क्यों कर रहा है तो भाई ग्रेजुएशन कुछ तो करना है, साइंस नहीं मिला तो बीकॉम कर रहा हूँ.
हाँ नहीं, मेरा वो नहीं था, बिल्कुल नहीं था. आई चोज बीकॉम बिकॉज आई न्यू कि साइंस नहीं हो पाएगा मेरे से, बिकॉज मेरा वो बेस नहीं बनवाया था स्ट्रॉन्ग. टिल 10th आई वॉज वेरी गुड. 11th 12th हो ही नहीं पाया था. वो मतलब वो लोहे का निष्कर्षण, तांबे का निष्कर्षण, हेमाटाइट, ये वो याद ही किया मैंने, मतलब वो समझा नहीं ना. So commerce was like, okay, you know what, business, numbers, economics, some bit of law. And they were very interesting. Like tax and all I learned. And that's what I'm saying. Like I was the unique person in the class also because I was the first person who came from science, picked up accounts. And in semester 1 only, I was the highest mark scorer in accounts.
Wow.
So even I was shocked. My teacher was shocked. The vice principal, he himself taught accounts. He was shocked. He's like, ये कैसे हो गया? So I really took it like that. And then I made sure that I learned the basics right by applying them. So 6 months only, I worked in retail store. And then I moved out, joined Motilal Oswal because finance became thing. So share market, trading account, demat account, saving account, those things I did. And after these basics were done, I learned communication. I learned some bit of selling, written communication stuff. Then I was like, okay, well, now try to find my kind of passion. And then media happened. Then Nimbus was the kind of one job that I really enjoyed doing, even though it was very small part of content. But in 2008, I was actually working on digital content for the first time, if you think about it. I was cutting TV content, movie content, all that for mobile.
So when you say cutting content, I'd like to understand that कि to put it very simple, I remember हम लोग रिंगटोन डाउनलोड करते थे.
Yes.
So उसी तरह से लोग 3GP वीडियोस डाउनलोड करते थे.
Yes.
But people would just download the hot videos, right? I mean, why would
correct.
so this is the hot video?
Half the video that we're cutting was hot videos only. So Shilpa Shetty yoga videos and all those things, because we used to cut a lot of gossip videos also. So Zoom TV used to have this show called Page 3 and Popcorn. That time.
MTV, Zoom, हाँ ये सब
So
है.
these shows का deal था वो हच के साथ, because people in UP and all they used to watch these videos. So उसका headline cut करके कि किसने किसको date.
So you're working for an agency, not for Hutch.
Not for Hutch.
Hutch was one of the client for the agency.
Yes, Hutch was a client, Edel was a client, and we would just take videos from these TV channels, which was deal between Hutch and them, and we would cut them into shorter videos, give proper headlines, create all formats, and upload them on the GPRS section, which would then see its own traction, people downloading and all that. We'll get the numbers correct. So basically, we have to check for pornographic content, to say content safety and all that. There's a, I think, 30-member team, some editors, some guys who to convert the content converters. And I was a producer. I was to overlook this. So in fact, I was the youngest producer in that team.
Okay.
And it was a challenge to like get people to listen to me. Every time they were doing something and I would say ki wo kaam kar dena, they would stop doing that. So I had to make them friends, take them out, create a rapport, because I was much junior. I was also young. I was in second year of college, just getting to third year. और लोग बड़े थे मेरे से.
But ये मुंबई में मैंने काफ़ी देखा है, like the ADs and all these guys are quite young and not accepted by the guys who have been in the industry from like few decades.
Yeah, because it's a cycle. It's like how colleges are bragging. No, it's a culture. It becomes a culture, right? Bombay वो culture बन गया है, because when those guys came, they were faced with same journeys. तो वो चलता आ रहा है. अभी of course कम हो गया because of the world and millennialism and Gen Zs and all those things. But I think it's a culture. Like Bombay, for example, why people call everybody Dada, set Dada, costume Dada and all that.
Makeup Dada.
Yeah, because first filmmakers were mostly Bengalis. So that culture came and still running today. Like even people can be from South India, but they're calling them Dadas. Like, so it's a culture. It's just going on. So वो तो थोड़ा करना पड़ेगा ना.
भैया एक है, दादा एक है. हाँ, got it.
बॉम्बे में भैया नहीं होता. भैया is looked down upon.
It's in Delhi.
हाँ, बॉम्बे में भैया is looked down upon. भैया means somebody is trying to abuse you in a way because they don't like Biharis and UP. So भैया means somebody who delivers milk. That's what when I was there. I don't know about now, but भैया it's a caste in Bombay.
Oh, is it?
भैया means you're from UP, MP and Jharkhand, Bihar.
ये हैदराबादी अन्ना बस है.
ये भैया है.
यहाँ अन्ना है, हम sorted है.
हाँ बिल्कुल. But this is just about Bombay things.
I mean, इंडिया में ये एक बहुत गलत भी लगता है मुझे, जिनको नॉलेज नहीं है इन चीज़ों के बारे में. कैजुअली हम तो भैया बोलते हैं, सबको एक दूसरे को भाई बोलते हैं. लाइक हम गुजराती में एक दूसरे को भाई मेरे को सब भाई से बुलाते हैं. तो वी आर वेरी चिल्ड आउट. लाइक इतना और सोच के नहीं जाना पड़ता है. अगर मुझे नहीं पता था, अगर मैं कहीं बॉम्बे चला गया और कैब वाले भैया को बोलूँगा भैया यहाँ ड्रॉप कर देना, तो
they'll tell you भैया मत बोलो मेरे को. If he's a Maharashtrian, he'll say don't call me भैया.
हाँ.
Yeah. If he's a UP guy, he'll not say anything. It's just a thing. See, I mean, it's again, you can pick a big deal about it, or you can just be like, हाँ ये यहाँ पे culture है. क्या कर सकते हो उसके बारे में. So ये थोड़ा वहाँ पे होता है.
Interesting. So okay, I'll circle back to Nimbus and आपने जो शॉर्ट वीडियो का जनरेशन में जैसे हमने वीडियोस बनाए, अब शॉर्ट वीडियो तो आजकल ट्रेंड बना हुआ है. बट यू मीन टू से वो पहले ऑफ
2008 I was doing that.
2008 you should do that. So वहाँ से what transitioned and how did you move to Hyderabad and journey towards Hyderabad?
Hyderabad is a long time after, so I'll come to that a little later. Nimbus में I learned production. I saw how people are trying to cover matches because they used to go that time. So we were all in the same office itself. I used to also see auditions and all that. So I saw production process quite closely. And I also gave some interviews to be ADs and all that on some projects. But ADs में वहाँ पे क्या होता है? They pay very less. And for me, because I needed certain salary to be able to pay my rent and eat my food, because AD पे salary उसमें भी I think 4,500 used to be paid. वो तो आपके लिए taxi bill भी नहीं होता. So I could not join a project. And then some friends of mine from Xavier only, they joined those projects and I saw their life and all that. I realized यार ये बहुत hustle है production में. I think I want the organized side of it. तो वो भी एक thought था कि I want to be in media but on the business side of it, not really on the ground production side of it. वो एक thought था दिमाग में कि यार ऐसे नहीं approach करना उसको. So again, just making my safety nets.
But right? That's also a good point for people who are planning to join towards the production side. It's better not to go towards the ground side, and also at the same time ये प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड होते हैं, जैसे मूवी है, शॉर्ट मूवी, तो काम खत्म, उसका फिर यू अगेन लेफ्ट विद नथिंग. While if you are working with the agency or if you are working in a company side, then there's continuous flow of work which is being built.
But again, there are pros and cons of both, right? Some people have family backing, some people have that passion to be able to sustain that, because the moment you prove yourself in the project basis working, your remuneration goes much higher, right? So you get rewarded for that risk that you're taking. But of course, again, there also success rate is very less. It's not everybody reaches there. Some people take forever to reach the top. Otherwise, they only become the line producer. They're only doing just coordinations on those. And again, the company side also, there are plus and minuses. Then again, you're just building something for a company, not really for yourself. So you have to decide basis where you're from. So I thought I have to make my safety nets. So I knew I want to go for my MBA. And that time, I realized that if I have to go for an MBA, I have to have like a good consulting company on my resume, because I wanted to go for a not very expensive MBA college, of course, for reasons that I already spoke about. And so I started looking for jobs in consulting companies like E&Y, Nielsen, and also applied McKinsey. McKinsey would not hire me that time. I don't know about now what they're doing, but they were a known company because they used to hire from Xavier's and they used to offer the highest package. So did some interviews. Finally, Nielsen is where I got through, because market research hota hai. And I knew that once you learn market research, it's going to be help no matter what. So again, just creating my ground that, no matter what happens in my life in future, I'll have some options to take off basis this. So I worked for a year at Nielsen, and then MBA preparation started. And after that, went to Symbiosis for MBA in Media and Communications Management.
Okay.
Because wanted to do MBA, not PGDM, because somebody taught me that in case you have some international aspiration, MBA is better. I don't think it's true anymore.
In those days, MBA was a fab. Like सबको वही करना था.
हाँ, तो इसलिए I focused on that only, even though it was not really proven in terms of the package wise, those things. But I knew I'm chasing my passion. Now, that time, I became that guy that I saw at Xavier's, right? Because I'm like, no matter the college, no matter the course, no matter what happens there, I know I'll be able to use this as a base and move ahead. So, suddenly that, like my student life, how it was at Xavier's, it completely changed a lot at Symbiosis. I was literally organizing guest lectures by calling my people that I knew in Bombay. They would come and teach. I was liaising with professors to figure out how the curriculum should be. And I can really say this on record that entire class like rallied behind me. Like I loved them, they loved me, and they're still a part of my life. And I saw that change, man. Like in Xavier's, I was trying to figure mentors and all that. In Symbi, I became that guy for my class and many people for that sense.
So basically, you became the backbencher, like the.
No, I was a great mix between a back and a front bencher.
No, I mean my context of not the backbencher was more like मेरे हाथ में control है पूरे.
But I also controlled the professors and class and everything else. I was good in both sides.
Every side, okay.
Yeah, so which was a great way to lead college. Like my director of college came to my wedding, So backbenchers do not get that privilege. You have all the fun, but again, and I did.
अच्छी setting कर ली थी.
All the backbenchers were also my close friends. So it was the time when I saw, okay, you know what, if you have checked your boxes of all your basic knowledge wise, experience wise, and aspiration wise, then things automatically start falling in place. That happened at Symbiosis. So there was a different kind of confidence. Like Xavier's confidence was much more, okay, you know what, I can face people. But Symbi was, I can also lead people. So that's how I went to Symbiosis, and that's how like more robust journey into media and entertainment started. And after that, college placements happened. I joined Z in Bombay from college placements. So there they hire management trainees every year. About that year it was 50. So they hire between sales team, marketing team, and finance team, admin team all combined. Then from marketing you get to kind of apply or choose for what channel you want inside of Z. The induction happens all together. Then not decided where you want to go. Some people can go to Z Cinema, some can go to Z TV, some can go to something else.
Music,
And I wanted to focus on the digital side of it. So they had a OTT platform called Ditto TV at that point, which was kind of, they say India's first OTT platform in that sense. They used to do live TV on that.
Okay.
You could watch news, you could watch serials, and you could also do a lot of temple darshan. That was the highest viewed channels at that point on Ditto. So I kind of joined that team, worked there for a year, and that's how my entry into media happened basically.
So Z to ByteDance?
Z to ByteDance. Well, Z is was a very interesting company where
So when you get a job at Z, a company like Z, Sony, all these big TV houses, I would call it, or all these companies, so why would someone leave that job to something else?
Because
अभी भी passion से पेट नहीं भरा या और
देखो again like I said कि passion था मीडिया में, but I realized I can do the business side of it. So I chose the business side of it. उसमें तो passion कम आता है, ज़्यादा अलग तरह का काम आता है. And Z had a lot of departments, a lot of demarcations, and if you're hired for this, you do this and all that. And I'm somebody who wanted to, because वो nature बन गया था ना कि I have to learn everything and I have to make sure that at least I have a idea about what's happening, what I'm doing, how it's impacting the company in that sense. So I would go and interfere with the SEO team, the product team, and all those things. And sometimes it was appreciated. Sometimes it was like, what is wrong with you? Like,
why are you coming into our?
Stop troubling us and all those things. So वो थोड़ा culture का disconnect हुआ मेरे साथ. एक साल पूरा करने के बाद then I moved out, and then I was not able to get a job on the media side, which was kind of at the same level at Z in terms of money. And I got offered a lot of jobs, but they were asking me to lower my salary because agency side थोड़ा सा कम शुरू करते हैं. Agency में क्या होता है, because again it's like the media production side where they start with low salary. If you sustain and if you kind of do that grunt work and then you grow later, but first 2 years are always less, and they're not ready to match my salary at Z. And I was like, यार इस time पे life में बहुत मेहनत करके यहाँ पे आया हूँ, I have not taken a dip for sure. And कुछ था मन में कि I want to do something on my own also and all that. I had made a lot of friends by then, right? Because Xavier, Harvard, Simbi, XYZ. I had some friends in Goa who used to have a nice property at Donapola Beach, which is like where the Zuari River meets the sea.
Okay.
So when the river and sea meet, that beach generally is safer in terms of waves and all that for water sports training. So my friend's place was the only resort on that beach. So all the Air Force guys, the Sports Authority of India, SAI, they used to block the venue to do sailing and windsurfing championships. So I used to always tell my friend and his dad कि यहाँ पे why are you running a resort? Can we do a sailing club and all that? And he was like, yeah, my son and my daughter are outside India. If you want to come here and do this thing, then probably I'll think about it. So then I was like, okay, you know what? Now I think it's time because I've done my ground up, I've done my MBA, I've done my safety net. अगर वो काम नहीं करेगा, I'll get a job anyways. Let's try and take that risk. So I moved to Goa.
For the 1 year.
Yeah, for that 1 year. And started setting the sailing club. It was called Hawaii Beach Resort पहले, उसको नाम change किया, called Club Nautique, little French name. Bought some second-hand windsurfing boards, some sailing boards. And my boss also was a sailor. Like he already had some boats and all that. Started doing summer camps, XYZ. And there it was, again, a different kind of culture, dealing with the government, permissions, XYZ. We were faced with a new challenge there because we had a set alcohol license and hotel license because we were a resort before. Because we converted into a sailing club where we were trying to do also certification courses with YAI, Yachting Association of India. Some issue with NGT happened. They came for inspection. They're like, no building. They generally check for construction and pollution things. They said everything is fine, but because you are an institute, you can't sell alcohol here.
Right.
Goa mein you can't have a business without alcohol.
Goa mein you cannot
have a business without alcohol. You need alcohol to do a business because nobody will come and stay for longer. There will be no repeat people, right? So that was a case in NGT where it's like a Supreme Court. You can't go beyond that. So that case I think is still on. And I realized that I'm going to waste a lot of time here. And then I thought, okay, time to go back to my safety net.
Okay.
Goa was fun. 1 year I became a sailor. I learned sailing. So from a guy who used to do kabaddi and other sports in Jharkhand to become a certified sailor was an interesting journey itself. So it was fun as long as it lasted. Lots of good memories, lots of good friends. But moved out of there. GroupM is where I got my next calling from, which is a media agency. It's one of the biggest in the world. Like if you see any ad across the world, half the ads are through GroupM, technically, like on TV or magazines and all those things.
Okay.
It's part of WEP Group, which kind of owns Ogilvy, JWT, all the advertising agencies. They are the biggest advertising agency plus media agency in the world, WEP Group.
So I have worked with GroupM indirectly.
Nice.
I mean, I can relate to that, but I would like to understand when you say it's the biggest agency.
In terms of volume.
What do they do?
So basically, if any
जो हम ऑनलाइन एड्स देखते हैं या फिर टीवी के ऊपर एड्स होते हैं, so they're all managed by GroupM or the subsidiary agencies.
So again, I'll explain that. GroupM has about, I think, close to 30 agencies inside GroupM. So the parent company is GroupM, which will do the billings and all that, but there are newer brand names. Why? Because they can also tie up with competitive brands. So Coke and Pepsi can be inside of GroupM itself because there are different teams working on it, and they follow the rules. They don't share data and all those things at all. So that was the idea why they have multiple things. But because they buy together, they consolidate to be able to get a better rate. So YouTube, what they'll give it to a brand versus what GroupM will buy it is a very different rate. And also second thing is media planning, because they have all the tools to target your people and optimize the plan to be able to get the best ROI. It happens through agencies. So many brands, instead of trying to spend directly, which is now happening a lot more because digital data is available, but in older times and now also they try and go through an expert. So GroupM is an expert who is able to find people, their उनका journey क्या है, कब उठते हैं, क्या पढ़ते हैं, कितने बजे टीवी देखते हैं, क्या शो देखते हैं, कौन सा एज ग्रुप क्या देख रहा है.
So they have all the data.
Everything, yeah. And because they buy so much of inventory from all the media platforms, they're able to also do a data dealing, because some of the platforms will not give data outside to anybody else. But because GroupM is paying you so much money, you would open that door for GroupM, be like, you know what, ठीक है, because you're giving me so much and all that. So that's how they are the biggest in the world, and even big in India. So I used to work with Mindshare, which was part of GroupM, and there I was part of content team, which was basically doing content for brands. So anytime a brand gives you a brief about what they're trying to achieve in a certain marketing calendar, you would try to create like a
strategy for the whole
content
creation.
What content. So it could be a static, it could be a blog, it could be an influencer piece, it could be a music video. And because I had Diageo as my client, which was the biggest alcohol giant in the world, India, they had a lot of deep pockets. Their marketing funds are quite heavy, and they were okay to take bigger risk because they wanted to market.
Where do alcohol brands market in India? Because normally तो हम देखते हैं वो सिर्फ mineral water ही बेचते रहते हैं, या फिर what do they call them, CDs and cassettes and CDs.
Yes. So because India has banned marketing by alcohol, they have found a caveat, which is where they try to do surrogate marketing. That's what the word they all use. And many brands, they create those surrogate products, which are your mineral water, calendar, music CDs, merch and all that and all. But some brands do it well, which means like Diageo would call brand purpose vehicles, right?
Brand purpose vehicles.
Okay. So which means अगर signature की whiskey है, right, and it's selling because they're trying to target a certain TG which kind of likes the fact that they are just getting their name and fame in first job and all those things. जो उनका surrogate product भी रहेगा ना, उसका marketing purpose vehicle same रहेगा दोनों का. Because your logo is similar, it's just नीचे बोलता है वो bottle water या फिर soda etc. So when you are trying to create your brand placements in the market, like in consumer's mind, you try to use that brand purpose vehicle in the selection like filter.
So when you're trying to sell alcohol, you sell mineral water. When you want to sell Rajnigandha, you sell elaichi.
Yes. But at least like the better brands, they'll try and make sure the purpose vehicle remains the same. So at least that disconnect happens. While you're talking about mineral water on TV, it will still kind of translate back to that product of yours.
Unlike the CD thing.
Yeah.
कोई logic ही नहीं.
सब लोग कर रहे थे CD, yeah. But that was becoming a little bit too much soda bottle also on everybody. But then some brands started doing differentiation in terms of communication and what you want to say, etc. So Diageo was one of the biggest clients. They used to spend a lot of money, and with them I was able to experiment more and create bigger IPs in content. And all this work that I did before was of big help because I understood retail, I understood market research, I understood like finance side of things. So I think GroupM में क्या हुआ था, because you had to talk to legal team to close your contract for your projects, talk to finance team, talk to your media team, everywhere, right? Many times, many projects get stuck in these debates and discussion because you need 3 codes, you need this, that, XYZ. But I understood these worlds. I was able to get my things done very, very quickly because I knew
that's your past experience helping you in
what the person is asking for. And many of my other clients, finance team, they love me because generally people take them as enemies. They're like, यार ये बहुत परेशान करता है, बहुत कुछ पूछता है. But I understood what they were asking for. So it made their life easy, and it made my life also very easy because they knew अगर यहाँ से आ रहा है कुछ, they will come in a structured manner. So GroupM was 4 years long. That was my longest stint, first ever longest stint.
Okay.
And I did a lot of content pieces there. I worked on music video project. I did a lot of Big Boss integrations. I did a lot of TV serial integrations, and a lot of movie integrations where hero heroine are trying to use the products. And of course, not just that.
So when you say all these integrations, यहाँ पे I don't think these are personal integrations. मतलब You're not referring to personal celebrity endorsements. You're talking to show के अंदर एक ad का.
Yes.
So by any chance, what are the numbers you're talking about? Just to get in context of an idea, like Big Boss के अंदर अगर कोई ad डालते थे उस जमाने में, you're talking about 10 years back.
2016 to 20.
Oh, just pre-COVID times, okay.
Yeah.
And how much were the brands spending on average? Like,
see, again, Big Boss is also Telugu Big Boss, there is Kannada Big Boss, is Hindi Big Boss, right? So depending on what market it's in and what ratings they're getting. See, everything's a function of reach.
so do the numbers keep fluctuating?
Oh, yeah.
For Hindi also, let's say Big Boss Hindi.
Yes.
When they have Salman, I don't follow Big Boss. I mean, it's very rare to find someone not following Big Boss, but I don't follow. I just see Twitter के ऊपर उनके clips आते रहते हैं कि सलमान भाई ने ये बोल दिया और कुछ हंगामा हो गया. But I felt कि it's like KBC, अमिताभ बच्चन है तो सलमान है तो पूरा शो का कॉस्ट एक ही रहेगा. या फिर वीकली ये चेंज होते हैं. How does this work?
So there are 2-3 different kind of models, right? So when there is a show planned with Amitabh, there are first bunch of people who will come, they're called sponsors. ठीक है. So those sponsors are coming with lump sum money. तो उनका मतलब मेरा 1 crore जो भी है XYZ crores I'm trying to commit against इतनी बार my brand name Amitabh will say इतनी बार मेरा ad play होगा, मेरे को ये चाहिए, मेरे को इस question में 50-50 insurance का था या फिर when the check that you present
check के ऊपर branding
all
है.
those bits are priced. Now the TV channel or the production house who's working with the TV channel for that show, they'll try to price it कि मेरा इतना है. But the brand, because they have to have guardrails about how they are putting money, even if a CMO takes call कि मुझे इसमें करना है, वो मनी जस्टिफाई करना पड़ता है उनको. सो दे विल टेक हिस्टोरिक डेटा कि लास्ट ईयर रीच कितना था, पर एपिसोड कितना हुआ, एवरेज कितना हुआ, कितना एज ग्रुप, इज इट मेकिंग सेंस फॉर मी, एंड इफ लेट्स से इफ आई एम गोना रीच दैट मेनी पीपल विथ दिस मच नंबर, व्हाट इज माय कॉस्ट पर रीच पर पर्सन, राइट? What is and then you try and justify it basis that, and then of course get a final RO and
but how do you figure out कि कितने reviews आ रही हैं एक Big Boss हिंदी series में? I mean I did read that there are some sensors they use, and based on that
earlier it was TAM, television audience measurements, which was scrapped I think 2018 के आसपास.
I heard there was a big scam around it and numbers were all faked up and stuff around that. अब क्या झूठ क्या सच नहीं पता.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली वही है, किसी को नहीं पता, बिकॉज सैम्पल साइज वाइज इंडिया इज अ बिग कंट्री, राइट? सो एनी सैम्पल साइज कैन बी क्वेश्चन. नाउ इफ यू आर अ स्टैटिस्टिशियन यू विल नो कि सैम्पल साइज कैन बी वेरी स्मॉल ऑल्सो, बट पीपल हु आर नॉट रियली know the formula of sample size and how it's calculated, they'll always feel everything is small. So I think TAM had 10,000 meters, which is very less when people agreed. Now it's BARC, which is broadcast, and that's some full form is there. You can probably put it on the screen for the people to understand. They do the measurements. So there are meters installed in people's houses, and they have family members. They have their own remotes. So everybody is watching. They'll click those buttons because they get paid for it. It's like a thing. These are, nobody knows their details. Like these are kept secret so that nobody can influence them. And basis that their age group and who are watching, how many are watching, how long they're watching, you are able to track how many ads are being watched, how much show is being watched.
But still the sample under a few crores would be nowhere useful, right? I mean, आपने अगर कुछ हज़ार लोगों को वो टीवी रिमोट दिया है, टीवी दिया है, तो उनका जो परसेप्शन है, आई वुड नेवर वॉच बिग बॉस, आई वुड वॉच कौन बनेगा करोड़पति. दैट्स माई प्रेफरेंस. नाउ इफ दैट डेटा इज हेल्पिंग KBC get more weightage over Big Boss is completely flawed because that's my personal preference. And अगर वो data set इतना छोटा रहेगा तो वो वैसे इन्फ्लुएंस करना ही है. I mean this is why the smartphone advertisement has boomed up, right? Because it's more transparent. Every data is counted, every person, every unique IP is tracked. टीवी में तो मुझे लगता है बहुत ही ये flawed data points है.
नहीं, so again it depends what your needs are, right? So generally in crores, it's impossible to do so many meters, right? Now, of course, there's tech to be able to track what people are watching because Tata Sky, all these are becoming digital. So of course, there's more data available now. So there is some science to it. And even when BARC started, the numbers were enough. The sample size was enough to be able to give you legitimate data because every brand kind of follows that to some extent. And see, when you do marketing, every objective is different, right? When you do marketing, there are something called brand campaigns. There is something called performance campaign. So when you're trying to performance campaign, digital is the best medium. You're trying to brand campaigns, then somewhere you have to figure something like a TV because the reach is still exponential. Earlier, YouTube Master used to be a great platform for brand campaigns until they used to give the master to one brand. But I think 4 or 5 years ago they stopped that also because the reach became so much. YouTube,
so just to clarify, what is YouTube Master? The main primary ad.
When you go to the home page, you used to see one banner on the homepage.
Yep.
You still see that, but now it's program basis who you are. Earlier it used to be fixed for all across in India. Everybody will see the same brand.
Same, right.
Yeah. And I think it was really expensive at one point, and there was no availability of the dates. So again, agency like GroupM used to block in advance, and then you have to really fight to get the masthead depending on the brand campaign dates. So YouTube Masters ka growth was insane, because I remember 1 year it was 70 lakhs for a day. Second year became 1.4 crores. Third year somewhere else. It was just exponential growth. Like YouTube.
But they would have got everyone a huge eyeballs also.
Oh yeah, of course. The reach. That's why brands paid, because there was no availability. Brands paid because they knew they'd reach so many people. So the mix, of course, has changed. So if you don't do brand campaign, you'll do reach. Reaches, TV was higher. These shows are higher because people always tune in. Even if they'll not watch, they'll tune in for sure, right? And now, of course, every brand, every agency is trying to justify more, because now you're saying you see Twitter. That also is a number. Big Boss hashtag का video चल रहा है, ये एक number है, measurement है. So you're also able to track reach of Big Boss in certain time frame on online as well. So you see how TV impacts online conversations. What are people saying about it? You are able to track tweets, positive and negative है क्या कर रहे हैं, all that.
So how much since you have worked with the agencies and stuff like that, roughly कितना charge करते हैं celebrities, just to get an idea? If you have worked with anyone.
Yeah, I mean, see, every celebrity is different. Their scale is different.
Any numbers which you could.
On an average, if it's a male celebrity in India, I mean, starting point, no matter how small they are, will be around 1 crore average, going up to 6-7 crores for 1 day, 1 year arrangement. So
No. So let's say if someone is doing an Instagram post or up to YouTube short, वो सब चल रहा है. Instagram post and static post. How much does a celebrity charge? Like Shah Rukh Khan, he works.
Shah Rukh Khan will not do it only.
But he works with LG a lot.
No, because LG is a larger deal. Is a brand
it's part of his whole yearly contract.
So see, again, it's demand and supply. Okay, like Virat Kohli will not do Instagram ads for anybody else. When he does it, he'll charge a 2 crore number. It's what I had read online.
But अब तो विराट का तो इतना over हो गए हैं ads की लोग अब ignore ही कर रहे हैं. विराट is no more even taken by the clients now.
That's what you and I feel. But brands still prefer that. पता है? Like, because it's a proven. Ranveer Singh has not done a movie for a while right now, right? Hit movie. He's still many brands ka face. They're still signing him up.
That's his energy, maybe the vibe he's throwing up to the people.
No, it's familiarity, right? People know that. It becomes easy for people to understand. So India is a market because you have to kind of reach and make sure people remember you.
So when we say that, एक मूवी से 5 करोड़ फीस साइन की है, 10 करोड़ साइन की है, and I keep hearing that they make more money through these endorsements. I mean, even the cricket matches.
Yes.
IPL में 2 करोड़ में उन्होंने उनको खरीद लिया उस प्लेयर को for the whole season. I don't follow Big Boss, I don't follow cricket, so I have no knowledge about that. But just saying, they buy the players for 2 crores, 3 crores, less the tax part and everything. And here they do ads for like an Instagram post for 5 crores. 3 crores.
5 crores is, I mean, only some celebrities can
only
charge.
Some
Nobody
celebrities
will charge 5 crores for an Instagram post. There are celebrities, like if they are not doing any Instagram post because they are premium and they are being asked to do it, they'll charge 1 crore plus a little bit more. But usually 30 lakh, 40 lakh is an average bracket. Again, it depends on how much engagement you are getting, how much, again, brands will track, no? इस celebrity का मेरे audience में कितने लोग follow करते हैं, क्या ratio है, उस हिसाब से.
But कभी-कभी तो I mean what you're referring to is more like performance marketing. अभी कभी brand building के लिए भी कर लेते हैं कि मुझे सिर्फ विराट कोहली चाहिए मेरे brand के लिए, भले वो उसमें कोई
हाँ, that's one name, but उसके बाद बहुत लोग चुनते हो ना आप. You just don't do one guy. You do like, you try and create like hero hub hygiene, so you try and pick some big guys. You pick your macro guys and micro guys. अभी तो मतलब every brand knows कि भाई एक करने से नहीं होगा काम. To also kind of keep the momentum.
Regionalize चला जाना है.
To also pay people for comments, to keep people for sharing. तो पूरा वो लेयर करने पे ही आपको मिलेगा सक्सेस जो रीच आप चाह रहे हो.
So what you're saying is सिर्फ सेलिब्रिटी को पैसे देने से काम नहीं होता है, फिर कमेंट्स भी करवाने पड़ते हैं.
बिल्कुल नहीं होता. कमेंट्स ही नहीं. You have to also tie the entire marketing campaign together. No, see, marketing is many things like product, place, price, and promotions. So all these things have to make sense. So you just can't do celebrity and be like, हाँ मेरा चीज़ सेल हो जाएगा. You have to be in the right places available, say the right thing, present yourself rightly in the retail space also. So only if you're doing that, then it makes sense. For example, I'll give you like, now going back to my GroupM days, one of the first biggest IPs that we had done was for Bagpiper. Bagpiper is a whiskey which was the coolest brand at one point in the 80s, right? In the 90s also. All the cool actors promoted it and all that. But later on it became very low market brand only for people who are lower startup society. So truck driver, vegetable seller, security guard, they drank Bagpiper because XYZ taste. वो सब एक हो गया कि वही लोग पीते हैं. But then Bike is becoming obsolete because वो लोग मीडिया पे नहीं थे 2016 2015 में, they were not really consuming.
Or could be the competition was scaling up better, faster,
yeah,
smarter.
I mean, they were owned by Diageo. They had many other brands themselves. Like they also own McDowell's No.1. They also own Signature. They own Johnny Walker. तो पूरा उनका एक cluster था. Bike still was a good volume brand in Karnataka and Maharashtra. Still is, by the way. But the audience became different. So how do you reach them and how do you make sure your brand sells, right? So there, when like this was my boss at GroupM, Nikhil Main, it was his campaign, which I kind of assisted him on, where we produced a movie that had the brand ka ethos, because usme na this Arvind Kejriwal and Anna Jare, they were all going out and trying to get people together for Lokpal and all these things, right? So entire country was going through a shift where people were coming together for a social change. So earlier Bagpiper used to say the tagline खूब जमेगा रंग जब मिल बैठेंगे तीन यार, right? आप मैं और Bagpiper.
Okay.
But the agency went and did some research, figured out this is the new change in society of people who are drinking Bagpiper, and then the tagline changed to खूब जमेगा रंग जब चल पड़ेंगे संग.
Oh.
To be able to relate to them, because they were kind of angsty about the richer class. They're not happy with how they were being dealt with. And in terms of media, they only kind of went and watched regional films when they were free, and otherwise they had radio at max and no mobile phones, maybe feature phones really. So we had to kind of reach out to them. So when you create a marketing ambience, you can't go to celebrity and be like, "Tum mera ad kar do and I'll put it on TV." So we found regional movie producers. We tied up with them. So in Marathi, it was Eros who was our partner. In Karnataka, it was Dwarkesh Chitra, which was making their 50th film. So we became part of the script selection, where script was about people coming together for a positive change. So we chose the script. We put money as a co-producer in the project. We also used the star to create TVC. And this is not as a brand ambassador. This is a hero. Because he's acting as a actor, the content guy of the movie, right? He can't charge me brand ambassador fee. Then I also activated my retail side, that if you sell so much, I'll feature your store. I'll come and shoot here. If you sell so much, I'll get you guys to feature in a song behind. If you sell so much, I'll call you for the release event, for the music event and all those things. So you have to tie everything together to be able to connect. We also chose stars, like in Karnataka movie, it's called Chauka. It ran for 111 days, by the way. It's the biggest hit. Good songs, viral songs. Sonu Nigam sang one song and all that. Great movie overall. So we chose actors from different part of the state to make sure all market gets activated. So just by choosing one element of one actor, never ever it does work. That you do it for pleasing your bosses and your marketing CMOs, because they kind of want that actor and meet them and take a selfie. But if you're trying to do marketing, you have to check many boxes before you.
So what you're trying to make me understand is basically, जिस तरह से मूवी में लोग बोलते हैं कि ये एक्टर के कारण मूवी हिट हो गई, डायरेक्टर के कारण मूवी हिट हो गई. When it comes to the ad business, there are so many areas, lot of things, and everything has to be done perfectly. Like कहीं एक भी goof up हो गया, जैसे आपने बताया, एक टैगलाइन के चक्कर में पूरा ब्रांड आगे पीछे हो गया था, and they had to rechange the whole tagline. I'm sure when they launched the tagline, they didn't overthink that much कि भाई it was a nice tagline कि मिल बैठेंगे तीन यार. It was a nice perfect example.
It worked then, but
with time
to change it.
You have to change it, and you have to make it such a way that it's accepted by everyone.
100%. Like even for McDowell's, because I've worked with these brands very closely. The marketing managers are very close friends of ours, because we really sat with them and planned 4 years at GroupM, and Diageo was exclusively with us only for all marketing. So even McDowell's #1 talks about Yari, right? Friendship. That's the communication. But the meaning of friendship changes every time. So Sholay is one friendship where I'm overbearing, I'll control your life. Then Ye Jawani Hai Diwani is different friendship. Dil Chahta different friendship. So these brands learn from these movies also. कि भाई अभी society में क्या चल रहा है. Like now there are no more friends who will come and control your life. तेरे को गलती करनी तू कर, कोई बात नहीं है. I'm here when you call me. I'll not come कि तू कैसे कर रहा है. But if you 10 years ago, if you see that, it was a different case. So the brand has to bring in that friendship element in the communication. Otherwise, nobody will relate to that, right? So
when I have worked with many of these brands as a content creator or influencer, I realize कि लोगों को लगता है कि बहुत ही आसानी से ये स्पॉन्सर्ड डील कर रहे हो, बहुत ही आसानी से. एंड व्हेन आई लुक एट द ब्रांड गाइडलाइंस, आई गो लाइक भाई इतना करना पड़ेगा. फिर सोच रहे हैं कि भाई ये तो हम थोड़ा सा काम कर रहे हैं, ये लोगों ने कितना होमवर्क किया होगा हर एंगल से. लाइक व्हेन आई वाज वर्किंग विद अ टेलीकॉम ब्रांड, आई यूज्ड टू रिमेंबर इट वाज थ्रू GroupM ओनली, एंड आई राइटली कनेक्ट यू आर राइटली अबाउट दैट पार्ट कि देयर वर मल्टीपल एजेंसीज. सो two of the biggest telecom brands, I was working with both of them, both were under GroupM, not directly by the way. And I recall कि उसमें गलती से word निकल भी जाता है कोई और, तो it comes under legal scrutiny. There are so many things, like it's not a easy thing कि कोई brand ऐसे चल जाती है. But now in this new current world, I see that lot of things are just random with the regional creators or smaller influencers. हवा में चल रही चीज़ें, मतलब रैंडमली.
उसका भी रीज़न है ना, उसका भी रीज़न है. सो यू टॉक अबाउट डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन राइट ऑफ कंटेंट, यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड दिस वर्ड राइट, बिकॉज यू आर इन कंटेंट. तो देयर इज आल्सो डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन ऑफ ब्रांड्स. सो सडनली देयर इज अ वेव ऑफ D2C ब्रांड्स. लाइक आपकी इस बिल्डिंग में इफ यू गो एंड ट्राई एंड चेक, देयर विल बी मेनी पीपल सेलिंग सम प्रोडक्ट और द अदर. सो those guys will not approach life like that because they have only seen one part of marketing. They'll see that एक ट्वीट होता है तो उससे कुछ होता है, चलो ट्वीट कराते हैं.
उनको नहीं पता उनसे क्या उल्टा भी हो सकता है, कैसे उल्टा पड़ सकता है. दे डोंट नो, दे नॉट इवन थिंकिंग दैट दे माइट बिकम ए पब्लिक लिमिटेड कंपनी इन द फ्यूचर. दे जस्ट थिंकिंग मुझे अभी इतना माल बेचना है, मुझे उतना ही फोकस करना है, ऐड चला दूँ, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. और जैसे आई कीप लुकिंग एट, आई डोंट रिकॉल दैट ज्वेलरी ब्रांड जिन्होंने लास्ट ईयर दिवाली पे कुछ ऐड चला दी कि जहाँ पर किसी ने बिंदी नहीं पहनी थी, एंड बिकम अ बिग नेगेटिव न्यूज़. अब ब्रांड मैनेजर ने इतना नहीं सोचा होगा कि कहाँ से कहाँ नेगेटिव हो जाएगा. सो बट नाउ इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड आई फील दैट information, over information is also a big problem. Like कहीं से भी कहीं बॉम्ब फट जाता है, कहीं भी कुछ भी हो जाता है.
That's what, no, I mean, democratization, everybody has a right to say now. So everything in terms of massive volumes, सब कुछ आला हो रहा है ना, हर तरफ से. तो कुछ लोग सही करेंगे, कुछ लोग गलत करेंगे. एंड वही आपके पास वैसे लोग आएंगे तो you'll feel like सही नहीं कर रहा है, but there are other guys who will give you a lot of guidelines and you'll be like ये क्या है, but they've spent too much money on that. They've had many agencies do research, go like on the ground level, do a lot of qualitative research, talk to a lot of panels and figure things out कि कैसे बोलेंगे तो ये चलेगा. तो they'll use those words. फिर competition का word use करा, वो मैं use करना ही नहीं है. Like if I'm working with McDowell's, I can't use blue color or green color because office's choice and one more, Imperial Blue, they are my competition, red competition.
True.
All my communication has to be in gold and that silver color, whatever I'm trying to use, or red and all that.
I relate to that.
Yeah. So
I worked with Samsung, LG. किसी को रेड नहीं चलता, किसी को ब्लू नहीं चलता. बिल्कुल इतने कट्टर है ये लोग कि मतलब भाई आप लोग बोल रहे हो दिवाली का वीडियो बनाना है तो मैं अब कुर्ता तो रेड पहनूंगा. नो एज वन ब्रांड वी कांट यूज दैट. यू शुड नॉट हैव एनी ऑफ द बैकग्राउंड कलर्स, पैलेट्स. ओ दे हैव लाइक दे इवन डिसाइड ऑन द लाइट ब्राइटनेस.
ज़्यादा होता है.
लक्स कोड भी
sometimes it's over problem. दिवाली है but they get too literal. बिकॉज किसी ने गाइडलाइन दे दिया उनको, ठीक है, वो आया CMO के ऑफिस से, हु इज द हेड ऑफ द ब्रांड. अभी इनको क्या, मुझे तो फॉलो करना है, उनको पता नहीं क्या है, मतलब क्या लॉजिक है, क्या हिसाब किताब है. बिकॉज इफ यू गो टू CMO, he'll approve probably this thing because it looks festive, it's good for my brand, let's go ahead and do it. But they start pros and cons. बट ये है बिकॉज उसका जॉब है, उसको सैलरी मिल रही है कि भाई तेरे को ये फिल्टर करना है कि उसमें ये कलर नहीं आनी चाहिए.
So when you're saying job है, filter है, तो I recall lot of many of my years I keep telling my team also that you know मैंने बहुत सालों तक ये किया है कि मैंने used to work with agencies and to some extent I have been a quick delivery person. Like कुछ बोला तो फटाक से 4 घंटे के अंदर काम खत्म करके दे दो, while other creators would take 4 days. The goal was so that they feel that अरे अमित के साथ वापस काम करना है बिकॉज ये टाइम वेस्ट नहीं है और ये नखरे नहीं करेगा कि आई वोंट डू दिस, आई विल डू दैट, आई क्विकली यूज अ टेलीप्रॉम्प्टर, रन खत्म, काम खत्म, आई डिलीवर इट. बट आई रियलाइज्ड many of those guys wanted to just show that they had a job there, so they'll just come and remember, oh there's this mistake, change this, change that, change this, change that. So what I used to do is a very simple format. मैं lower thirds में जानबूझ के टाइपोस डालता था. जानबूझ के 4 टाइपोस डाल दो, 2-3 बार जानबूझ के रॉन्ग कट्स कर दो बिकॉज वे वेरी इजी टू मूव. एंड देन सेंड इट एंड दिल भी हाँ देखो कितने मिस्टेक्स इसके, चलो पूरी लिस्ट बना के अमित यू हैव 11 चेंजेस टुडे, डन, कंट्रोल सी ये लो.
There are people on the CC email, no? They have to see कि ये काम हो रहा है.
And then they feel
that is
oh you got a fabulous job done. वो आप एक दूसरे को थापी मारते हैं, बहुत बढ़िया काम किया तूने, इन्फ्लुएंसर से इतने मिस्टेक्स करवाए थे, you fixed it.
That's when the creator friend of yours who do last minute delivery, because last minute delivery मतलब उतना QC नहीं होगा.
I know वो भी है, but मेरा focus अलग था कि if I do a last minute thing, then I personally believe that the other party would think that this guy is a dangerous guy, like dependent नहीं है इसके ऊपर. Like if I go to Amit, जॉब डन एंड आई एम लाइक एक काम खत्म, अगला कुछ काम है तो बता देना. एंड समटाइम्स समवन्स वर्क गेट्स कैंसल्ड एंड आई स्टिल गेट दैट वर्क. आई शुड गेट दैट वे ऑल्सो. तो आई वॉज ऑलवेज क्विक डिलीवरी पर्सन, बट आई रियलाइज कि बहुत लोग ऐसे चेन ऑफ कमांड में जानबूझ के मिस्टेक ढूंढने के लिए बैठते हैं कि कितने मिस्टेक्स हैं निकालो.
You remember, I mean, I completely agree with you. That's true. And I don't want to like hold myself back from saying that. That is true in bigger companies for sure. They hire people, like too many people. Sometimes I have done meetings with them, like, इतने लोग जरूरत नहीं होते इस project के लिए. Because you have seen on the inside, one person is running the entire show, they're doing everything, but suddenly on the brand side, they'll just come. It's insane. But bigger companies have that problem. They'll always go with that approach. And look at Twitter, right? Abhi, prime example. When Elon Musk took over, he fired like
Left, right, everyone. Yeah.
Correct. And people said the company will not run with so less staff.
Nothing happened. It is running. I mean, they had so many people for every department, which didn't make sense. आपका सर्वर सेटअप इनिशियली करना होता है, उसके बाद तो सर्वर चल रहे हैं. Unless you have World Cup happening tomorrow and Twitter is live hosting it, तो आपको तब कैपेसिटी हाई करने के लिए कुछ लोग चाहिए. वरना लाइव चल रही है तो why do you need all of these extra guys also? Fire them. And you don't need to hire many more people. Keep the efficient ones. And Twitter is, you're right, a perfect example.
Yeah, because वो हो रहा है अभी. Now many brands are waking up to that because पहले वही था कि चलो पैसे आ रहे हैं, पब्लिक लिस्टेड कंपनी है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, we have to give reports, every department is different, ownership, KRAs, lots of things. So now more brands are becoming more practical.
One prime example of the exact opposite is Zoom. Zoom, the video client meeting up app has multiple requirements. One requirement is you have to work offline in the company. मैंने कहा Zoom को offline बुला के लोगों से काम करवाता है. A company which
but it's for everybody really? I don't know that.
Yeah, I mean they recently had some mandate. I mean I read somewhere that everyone has to come to the office, and they were just launching new features which no one really needed. भाई Zoom आपको कोविड के टाइम में हमने यूज़ कर लिया. अब why are you even upscaling yourself? What are you even achieving there? Google Meet is doing a fab. Everyone has a video platform now. You don't really need things. So that's a prime example कि जिस तरह से Twitter ने लोगों को काटने के बाद भी survive किया है, Zoom is burning more money, and then later they come out and say that we are in losses, we'll have to shut down the company. That's one major problem.
Yeah, no, that's a different debate altogether. But for me, I'm a advocate for work from office, honestly. I don't think working remote does the job because I've done that. Pandemic time mein ByteDance was joined remotely, and when I left also it was remotely, like entire 10 months.
So the job was never happening.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, culture आता है यार office में. When you work together, a lot of things work out. So there, I'm a huge advocate of like working from office. Even if you do 3 days a week, doesn't matter. Do it for some time because you have to know people face to face. यार. वो अमिताभ का डायलॉग है ना, फोन अजीब चीज़ है. आदमी बोलता कुछ है, करता कुछ है, समझता सोचता कुछ है. That is true for online working. So,
True.
So I am a huge advocate for offline work, but I understand about people. That's something that many companies are waking up to. And
because then when you are doing a physical meeting, there's a final closure. Like when I do the sales and negotiation and whatever for my real estate stuff, मैं फ़ोन पे एक हफ्ते तक बातें करते हैं हम लोग. कल करते हैं, हम ऐसा डिस्कस करेंगे, कल करेंगे. मैंने ऐसे लेट्स कैच अप ऑन सैटरडे, आधे घंटे के अंदर सब काम क्लोज. लाइक चेकलिस्ट खत्म की, ये इसका क्या करना है, ये करना है, ये करना है, क्या हुआ, नहीं करना है. वॉट एवर इज द डिस्कशन, यू हैव इट अपफ्रंट, फेस टू फेस, क्लियर करो, and you had sorted.
It's a tangible deadline, no, that sense. Like
Why?
Even Amazon का meeting के बारे में सुना होगा आपने. When they do a meeting, so anybody who's coming to meeting, they don't have PPTs, by the way. They do like a document. So whoever is organizing the meeting will make the agenda with all research, every information in that one docket, which goes to everybody before the meeting happens. They all come ready, and there is a timer. They have to agree on one way forward and close it. So Amazon ka meetings are very hyped and talked about because how they structure their meetings. That's one way to approach life. But yeah, physical
interesting.
Connections are very, very important as per me. As somebody who's running a company, as somebody who is kind of leading a team, I don't encourage too much work from home. So I do. Like, please take your wellness day off, take work from home, but don't overdo it.
That's one reason we do offline podcast also. काफ़ी लोगों ने मुझे बोला कि why don't you do a Zoom podcast? You can easily connect with people all over the world.
Yeah.
I said the problem is, well, I have also been in others' meetings and I'm in a Zoom call, and if someone calls me nearby, I'll just say like, hey, I'm just speaking while I'll keep doing something. I'll be distracted. While when you're in a physical room, you're just focused and you're talking.
Correct.
The same applies for work, same applies for anything. Like one-on-one.
And culture बनता है ना, because you're a team, you're kind of chilling together, so you learn each other's habit. कौन क्या smoke करता है, कौन क्या चाय पीता है, कौन कितना coffee पीता है. There's a like camaraderie that gets built, relationships get built, right? And the company will not work with just individual contributors. It has to work with a team and people who manage the team. Those bits are very, very important. Of course, for software and backend support, it's a different game altogether. But if you're trying to run like a marketing team and front-facing sales team and all those things, then office working is extremely
So when
important.
you just said in the last minute that now my company, so is it your company or did you again shift to a new place?
No, so it was not my company. I didn't start it. So after ByteDance, when ByteDance kind of moved away from India and we were supposed to like figure life out, I realized that if ByteDance is not safe, nothing else is. ByteDance it's one of the biggest MNCs right now, and they're doing exceptionally well. Like YouTube and Facebook, were afraid of how fast they were growing. And that was a great jump for me from GroupM, right? To work for an international company that's growing so fast and working with the central international team for user growth and all that. And again, middle class background, safety nets, always taking my calls calculatively and trying to grow. Though it was a very safe call, but that call turned unsafe in a way, right? Because suddenly for the first time I was left, ki karna kya hai? And I had not had that feeling for like literally more than a decade. So going back there was like a very interesting feeling. Then I had to use these multiple things in my head, it'll get better, it'll get okay. So GroupM time mein, one of the campaigns that I was doing was for McDowell's. It was a show because while their communication is number one yari across the country and even some part of the world as well, in Telugu they were not doing very well. And Telugu is a heavy whiskey drinking market. And they kept trying to run ads across all TV channels, all digital platforms, सब जगह चलाया, but वो pick up नहीं कर रहा था. And then when they came to us with research, we realized that yari is not a Telugu word. So while they were talking about the number one yari, nobody knew what yari meant. So it was not registering with people, right? And then we told them either you dub this into babai, dosti, whatever they understand the language, or so the brand was like, no, listen, we can't change for one state, one language. Can we figure something out? I'm like, okay, let's think about this. We went back on the drawing board and realized that, okay, then we have to introduce the word in Telugu language, right? That's the only way out to be able to solve a brand problem. And when we went to the brand with this solution, they were like, okay, interesting, let's hear the plan. So the plan then was that, this market loves celebrities, right? You know this. They love their film stars.
Yeah,
like
they're God.
They're gods. They'll kill for them, they'll die for them. It's just insane. They go into politics. They genuinely are gods. And we thought nothing better than getting these celebs closer to their fans. And us samay 2017-16 mein, there was no celebrity chat show in the market which was hosted by a celebrity. Okay. Because the celebs here, they still are like gods, right? So they didn't think TV was a medium for them and all that, unless there was some promotion happening for their movies and all, not really TV engagement. So we kind of structured a show where we got a celebrity to host the show and called two celebs who were friends, talk about friendship stories, and we bought a time slot on Sun TV, Gemini TV. And we also did simulcast on OTT on View app. That time View app was here in India. And this was the first show that was simulcasted on OTT and TV. And the show was called Number One Yari. The show has elements about friendship, a lot of games around friendship. It was on Sunday, 8:30, 9:30 prime time slot. So the entire family could watch it. And every time friendship moments happen, we played the song in the background, the Number One Yari Re. Right? And again, not just that, we also did a lot of retail activation. So people who won a contest came to watch the episode shoot live. People who sold more, their shop staff got to take photo with the celebs. So on and so forth. So many things were done around. Radio was activated. Questions were asked on Twitter. What do you want to ask this guy? And season 1, 2017 is when we shot. Rana Daggubati was the host of the show, and he was the guy who got the vision, because many actors were not able to understand what we're trying to do, and he got it, and we partnered with him. And because of my brand journey, I worked with many celebrities, and working with him was like completely different experience for me. And season 1, of course, we didn't talk that much about other things. It was more about the show itself. We were collaborating on that, but we realized that the working style is both sides appreciated. So season 2 happened, season 3 happened. Season 3 ke beech mein, because we shot 2 episodes, pandemic came, I moved to ByteDance and left the show. So season 3 was completed without me, and it was not completed well because I used to tie it all together. Every stakeholder, from a key sponsor to the TV channel to OTT platform to other sponsor to all PR agencies to all ad agencies, सबका logo size, सबका color, सब कुछ देखना होना. So you have to really be on top of your game to be able to align so many stakeholders into one thing. And so my absence was missed by many stakeholders, honestly, and I can say that on record again. And Rana and I were in touch because by that time we had some bit of a relationship about so many ideas used to bounce off each other about my life, also what I was doing. I was keeping posted. He would talk to me about what he was trying to do in movies and marketing because he's been very active across many things, right? And I genuinely liked his way of working. I liked the speed because he in Hyderabad, he was Bombay person, always on to something else. And
I could relate to that when I watched his Netflix series.
Yeah.
With Venkat.
Venkatesh Daggubati.
Venkatesh Daggubati.
Yes. So him and I used to be in touch, and then finally, we realized that after ByteDance and all that, because I was also not really looking to move to Hyderabad and kind of thanks, be here full time because again, film star, right? Family business background, non from same language. वो fear था कि भाई क्या होगा. So never did he was forthcoming, neither was I. But we knew there is some bit of a collaboration that is possible because we used to work on projects. I went to meet Raj Comics owner in Delhi for Rana because he owned a stake in Amar Chitka tha, Tinkle Comics.
Who?
Rana Daggubati. Yeah.
What does he have a connection with the comic book?
Rana Daggubati invested in that company many years ago, and now, as of now, Spirit Media and Rana, we own half the company. With Mr. Kishore Biyani sir on the other side, he owns the company, half that. So we run that company together. So I knew that he's interested in comic books, and I told him about Raj Comics. He's like, oh, I know about those guys because I heard in Hindi they try to make some films. If they're interested, I'll be happy to come on board. So I went to meet Raj Comics guys because that time I was a fan, right? So for me, Raj Comics was the core of my media journey, So I went to Burari, where the headquarters is, to meet them, figure things out. So I had done a lot of ad hoc projects for him. Some shaped, some did not shape because, of course, there were different things happening at Raj Comics. They are literally killing the brand right now. I'm a fan. I'm very, very unhappy with what is happening. So I'm in touch with all three brothers who are fighting over the IP. Hopefully, someday we'll be able to sort things out with them. But basically, the collaboration was there on projects. It was not happening full time because I was not very sure about leaving corporate side and a fixed growth journey, job with a middle class mindset. And he also did not know what I'll do because it's a completely different line, right? When I'm doing marketing, brands, those bits are easy. But here it's business, it's movies, it's many things. But I think Jan 2021 we spoke. And this was before ByteDance last date happened. And I said, okay, let me think about this. And then ByteDance happened. I flew to Hyderabad, met him, discussed, realized there is no concrete idea on paper, in terms of what we'll be doing together. But the intent from both sides was very clear that something can be done. So I moved here working for a company that he started before he became an actor called Spirit Media. So that was a VFX company. He was a VFX coordinator very early on before he became an actor. Then after that, he sold that business to Prime Focus, became an actor. And this company was kind of kept aside. They were doing the annual filings and all that, but there was no business operations happening. And I joined it to kind of revive it back and started doing many business activity from Spirit Media itself.
Okay.
So early on, I started doing non-fiction projects, but since I moved to Hyderabad, because I knew that this is where I can understand more about his ecosystem because there's just so much, right? I mean, if you think about his family business and where he comes from, third generation producers, 160 films, 13 languages. His grandfather holds Guinness Book of World Record for movies, most produced movies by a single man. So I thought coming here would be opening doors. And then I moved here. It has its own moments, challenges and all that because language barrier, all those things. But I kept taking more of responsibility in the company. Eventually, he kind of said, you know what, you were doing more than what employee would do and you were setting up your own teams and all that. Then he himself kind of proposed to make me co-founder. So hence, because I've been hiring team, I was the guy who bought the website. I would do the emails. I was the legal, finance, every spoke, honestly, from scratch Today we are like 80 members strong. We have offices in Chennai, Hyderabad and Bombay. Many things of course were happening from Suresh Production and other things, but now it's all structured into one ecosystem. So that's how I say my company, because I'm running that with Rana. I'm running it for him, and it's been 3.5 years and it's been going super strong. So that's the company I'm working for, and this is my so far like going to be longest stint very soon, but second longest stint in my work life so far.
So it's Spirit Media, a company co-founded in the past founded by Rana
Daggubati, and now I'm his co-founder.
And you are his co-founder. So how has been your role working with him? Like, कैसा रहा, मतलब सफ़र कैसा है, मतलब I have seen his Netflix series, and of course I have seen his movies in the past. Of course everyone has seen Bahubali, I guess. Rana looks like very sharp, like, he's always in his game, getting things. And so how is his working experience with you?
I mean, it's been fantastic to me. Like, still date, he keeps surprising me in many places where I would feel like, because of his background, his journey, and what privilege he comes from, right? Sometimes the kind of things that he knows is surprising to me, and he knows a lot, and he always adds value in any interactions, any meetings and all that we do. And it's been fantastic working with him as a partner, scaling this up, because we are trying to do a lot, and after 3.5 years of hard work, finally things are kind of showing traction. You know what I mean? Like, because earlier it was different industry for me also. It would take time to see a film from idea table to go to like floor, and I used to get impatient. I'm like, ye kyun ho raha hai? Some things are starting, they're getting paused, and I would be like, nahi, aisa nahi karna hai. We have to like be on plan, be on track, dates hai. Because I came from that brand business corporate side of the world, right? Ki bhai ye plan hai to hona chahiye, right? But here I learned that movies are not made like that. They're made basis passion and stories first, and to click those elements.
But isn't there also a PR thing?
No,
like the way it's sold,
that's after the movie is made.
No, I'm just saying that the whole concept of saying that South में movies passionate तरीके से बनाई जाती हैं, बहुत क्रिएटिव एंगल है. राजमौली साहब 4 साल 5 साल बिठाते हैं, फोकस करते हैं. आजकल सारे डायरेक्टर यही स्टोरी काइंड ऑफ बेच रहे हैं. एंड लाइक इन द नॉर्थ ऑल्सो, आई मीन पीपल मेक फन ऑफ अक्षय कुमार सेइंग कि भाई ये तो कुछ करता ही नहीं है. स्क्रिप्ट उठाई, कल yesterday there was a flight which got some issue, it couldn't land, I think in Ranchi or somewhere, और कमेंट्स में वही था कि अक्षय की स्क्रिप्ट बन गई नेक्स्ट मूवी की. सो इट्स लुक लाइक फन. एंड साउथ में आजकल मुझे लगता है थोड़ा सा ये भी तो PR ही तो है. मतलब everything is being sold in a way that there's a lot of thought process behind it. There's a lot of creative angle, which is why the movies are being delayed. ऐसा थोड़ी ना होगा यार. हर बार हर डायरेक्टर थोड़ी ना उसी एंगल से सोच रहा होगा.
नहीं, but think about it. कौन ये PR करेगा? मतलब ऐसा किसके पास टाइम है? Because see, if it is one movie PR, one person PR, one company PR, I will understand that. But this is, you're talking about the entire region, है ना? So
I'm not blaming them. I'm trying to understand what could be the reason behind that. Is it like यहाँ पर जो मूवी बनाने का तरीका है वैसा कुछ है, या फिर
people are definitely passionate यार. Rajamouli sir kept his house on mortgage for Bahubali 1. Like who does that? Whose director does that? Many things like in his family only. Like his wife will do styling, his brother will do music, his brother's wife will do something else. Those are passion parts. They're not doing it just because. Like Bahubali 1 was a biggest gamble, right? So that
all the movies like these days at least, because they're all big hi-fi numbers, and जितना पैसा जा रहा है, everyone is gambling. Like I mean, I'm just looking at Junior NTR's latest movie, and which I doubt it's going to hit any good numbers.
No, I think it already has.
और it has also been a curse कि राजमौली के साथ जो काम करते हैं उसके बाद उनके 2-3 फ्लॉप जरूर रही है. उसके बाद it takes a dig and then recovers, like how Prabhas also went through cycle.
These are all audience side of stories. इसमें किसी control.
So I'm audience, right? I'm
exactly,
not
exactly. So ये South versus North जो लोग बोलते हैं, it's an audience side of story. So they see movies, they see their own way, they have their own apprehensions कि ये कैसे क्या हुआ, right? They'll know Pushpa 1 आई थी, it did so well. Pushpa 2 has been still in the wraps. It's being short. Time लिया इतना, मेहनत करता है, he's not doing anything else. So they'll give him the due if the movie is good, right? So audience knows everything because they are interested in film stars. They know what they are doing, where they are Right.
I think the whole way the content consumption has also changed things. Like earlier, stars were doing multiple movies, and now things are like, let's do once in a year. Like even Pushpa ho, या फिर बाहुबली के actors ho.
Each star is different. So Amir Khan used to do again same thing he was doing before also. He used to do only one movie at one time, and 2 years make movie करना है. But there are other stars like Akshay Kumar. He said he used to do more movies. So to each their own, depending on like Ravi Teja in Telugu, he does a lot of movies, and he's a successful star. So it's not about industry.
But that's what I'm saying. That industry has completely changed. Now Ravi Teja, he is a good star. I mean, I like his movies, but he's not considered like I won't name it. I don't know the right way of putting it. Like A grade or A+ जो बोला जाता है. रामचरण जो राजमौली के साथ आए हैं, वो अभी 1 नंबर पे आ गए हैं.
But just think about it. No, like I said, to each their own, right? His personal goal is what? His personal goal, does he want to be like a Ramcharan or NTR and be like...
Wouldn't everyone want to be there? I mean, every actor would think, right? I want to be there.
Not necessary. Some people have multiple things to do, right? Their objective is different. Again, passion also differs, right? So you would want to do one movie very, very well because you want to leave a legacy behind for that one movie. Versus you would want to have a different approach in life where you were like, you know what, let me try and do this on the
you
side.
have that energy to quickly, like Akshay Kumar के फटाफट में energy है मेरे में काम करता हूँ मैं.
Correct.
Someone else is like, I get your point.
Yeah, so everybody's objective is different. They're very happy in their own space because again, people are different. No, some people like doing X, some people like doing Y. Sports किसी को ये पसंद है, किसी को वो पसंद है. Same in movies.
Anyway, I'll not stop judging these
the
guys.
movie industry.
Because I am an outsider.
This is the easiest industry to be judgmental of because everybody sees the life on screen, right? So you're seeing them. So you feel like they're part of your life. And this is like all these narratives are built by the audiences because they're really enjoying what is happening, sometimes not enjoying. So they'll be like, ये तो क्या बकवास है, ये अच्छा किया. Like everybody says, no, ये movie hit होगी, ये flop होगी. Like before even teaser comes, trailer comes, they'll be like, अरे तुमको पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है. Friends fight over heroes, right? So
जैसे क्रिकेट के लिए लड़ लेते हैं, ये टीम वर्सेस दैट टीम. So movies के भी वही चलता है, actors के लिए. So okay, I'll ask you a question related to business and since we are talking about Tollywood or Telugu production houses or since you are connected with Rana, how do you think, how are the stars in the Telugu movie industry, how are they around the business circles? क्या वो ज़्यादा focused है काफ़ी? Because they're again, the Tollywood industry is again a family kind of whole ecosystem. भले नॉर्थ साउथ में nepotism चलता है, यहाँ भी है, वो बोला नहीं जाता है. Again, I'll not blame that. But
it's there. People have spoken about it, so it can't be taboo. Yeah, it's there, but it's there for a reason because when movie industry, it was looked down upon, right? When somebody's movie, they were like, not really.
NTR, the CM, and अब उनका बेटा है तो
उसके पहले कि अब देखो मतलब if women acted movies they were looked down upon,
right?
If people in the movies were not really respected that heavily, so that time this family took risk and did this. Today they deserve to like kind of reap the benefits of that, right? So there are many pros and cons.
Of course, they have taken huge risks also.
But to talk about Tollywood and Telugu, I'll give you an anecdote. Okay, so when I talk about Telugu industry, and this I do a lot because I am an outsider here, right? So when I introduce this to anybody from other parts of the country, anybody abroad, I start with like, okay, Guinness Book of World Record, the largest studio space in the world, Ramoji Film City, on record. The director with most movies director, Tarasri Rao, he's father of Telugu cinema, right? Telugu. The actor with most movies, Brahmanandam. The singer with most movies, again somebody Telugu. Producer with most movies, Naidu Daggubati, sir. So that's how Telugu industry is to me. And when I learned these figures, I was like overwhelmed. Like, my God, these guys love their cinema, right? Otherwise, it won't really be where it is right now. Then the second number that I speak about, that if let's say India has 100 screens, out of which almost half are in Tamil and Telugu markets.
Right.
That's why all the movies in Bollywood, they dubbed in these two languages. Because screen shares in दो languages में बहुत ज़्यादा है. And third anecdote that I'll talk about. So Ted Sarandos, he's the Netflix co-CEO. Netflix में 2 CEOs हैं. Reed Hastings, this Ted Sarandos. So generally they do every year, they go to other markets, meet the actors, producers, distributors, everybody else to be able to do their dealings and make sure things are moving fine. Anywhere they go in the world, including Bombay, they would book a venue, 5-star hotel या फिर कोई studio. So in Bombay, I think it was Yash Raj. And they'll invite with, of course, politeness, all the film personalities and meet them there and be like, thank you very much, let's try and work together, XYZ, whatever is the agenda, right? As a corporate company, because उनका वो process है. When it comes to Hyderabad, he was here for 2 days and went to everybody's house. He went to Mahesh Babu's house, he went to NTR's house, he went to Ramcharan's house. He met the Kalki team on the set, and he came to Rana's house. And I had the same question I asked, because his chief of staff is Obama's chief of staff. That's the girl who kind of works for him. So I was just talking to her. I'm like, because I observe what Netflix is doing, right? Because I'm from corporate world. I'm like, अच्छा ठीक है, company ऐसे काम करती है, Prime ऐसे काम करता है. So I asked, how is this? Because here also you could have done like same thing you do in other cities, right? You book a venue, invite
call
everyone.
everyone.
So they said something very interesting. They're like, this is the only industry in the entire world where the same people are the actors, the same people are the producers, the same people are also distributors. Right? And that's something to think about. Because these are guys who have worked hard, they have set the market, and they've done it like with a lot of hard work over generations.
They're betting on their own money.
Yeah.
While many industries we notice that producer कोई और है, risk किसी और का है, काफ़ी बार flops होता है तो other person are taking the risk. Here that's also a big risk.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's how Tollywood is different, and that's how I see it. So these three are my ways of looking at the South industry. And I moved here before like this whole conversation started happening. So these are my ways of introducing to my friends also, because they also know like, यार तू बॉम्बे छोड़ के क्या कर रहा है हैदराबाद में, right? Anybody abroad, because again I have friends outside of India also, they also want to understand what's happening XYZ. That's how it's been. And now you see Hyderabad, now you see what's happening, etc. And I mean, of course there'll be a lot of connects and a lot of debates, but it's in the back of this industries that the city is growing, right? That was the first industry was called here, right? They were all in Madras. So South industry was based in Madras. It was in the, I think, late 80s is when they were given some land, and government said, you know what, we'll give you some benefits, come open your studios here, get your houses.
Right,
and it was all rocks. Where the film Nagar is, it was just rocks. And I've seen photos.
I think Ramoji Rao was the first person to start off with the whole film city.
It's a massive, I mean, there are a lot of stories, I'm sure with time it'll all come out, but how the entire industry decided on the move also is a massive story from Chennai, because again, comfort zone. I want to go, I don't want to go. यहाँ पे ये अच्छा है, वहाँ पे वो अच्छा है. But finally the move happened, and that was the first industry to move here to start moving on board.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'll circle back to the last question. How are your contacts in the Tollywood industry? How do you think are they doing great in the business side? How do you think, like investing in startups or investing in new ideas, or कैसे करते हैं, मतलब, या फिर वो they also rely on third party investors and जैसे like I have just made money, just throw it away, or do they actively invest and work with them? Like I remember, I'll give you a small context. I remember Sachin Tendulkar was a part of a smartphone brand called Smartron.
Yeah.
Of course, they call it as a brand ambassador, but it's basically a vested interest, and he probably might have got a stake, is what I heard as a story.
Yeah.
Most of the companies, that's how they work. So that there's a vested partnership जिसमें जो भी हो, celebrity है या जो भी investor है, they are not putting their money, but they are putting their time.
Yeah.
And instead of getting upfront money, they are also going to grow with the company if the company succeeds. So how do you think the things around South?
So it's a layered answer, okay? Because South में ना celebrities don't like do brands. There are celebrities who straight up have the policy, Tamil and Telugu both, कि हम brands करेंगे ही नहीं करना. Simple. Because they're like, I don't need that money. Because many reasons, right? Some have political aspirations, some have their fan clubs who kind of love them for what they are, what they stand for. So they want to promote something for money and those kind of things. But there are other people who are kind of changing their approach. There are people who are investing money into brands for sure, because that happens through the family offices, because everybody has money to be managed. तो वो तो cycle जो होता रहता है, because they see something interesting. And that's how like I am seeing the change, because with Rana, in Spirit Media itself, we have like 4 buckets, out of which one is your content production, which is happening, of course. There's films and web series and all that being done. There is a team called South Bay, that's a pop culture based marketing team, where we do a lot of brand TVCs and brand marketing, social media content, and we create some IPs like your Tolly Techno, where we take South Indian songs, make them into techno and do on-ground events. And there is a talent management team which manages talent. So we have Trisha, we have Venkateshwar, we have Pradeep Ranganathan, and many other actors in Telugu and Tamil being managed by us. And the other piece that we have started is called Disruption Fund, which is a SEBI registered fund to invest into startups. Because Rana is an investor, everybody knows about that. So many friends and family actors, they would be like, मुझे भी करना है, right? And we used to have them invest into startups. But now we do in a structured manner, which is going through a fund. It's an angel fund. So where they invest the money into the fund invest money.
So now Rana's company takes funds from family friends and invests into
friends, anybody, and plus also associates, right? Like they invest into startups through us. It goes through the SEBI registered fund that we have, which is again managed by Spirit Media, and of course there are partners who understand the business world much
finance
better.
part,
Yeah. So these are a couple of buckets that we are operating in, and I'm seeing a lot of traction. So earlier, I mean, many actors would not look at sweat equity and all those things as a model, but now many are open. Of course, sweat equity comes with a lot of due diligence, because then you are giving the brand your face. It's not just 1 year, 1 day, right? It's a longer association. So you have to make sure the brand guys who are running it, they are good people. The product is good. They have enough capital to back it, the marketing campaign, the sales, and everything, right?
Everything.
So it takes longer, but there are many actors opening up to that slowly. Then there are opportunities where they'll know some other actor is, for example, Bold Care, Ranbir Singh became a co-founder, right? Before he became a co-founder, many people knew about this discussion because they knew that ये brand grow होगा, because he fits the persona, it works. Even normally you would think, अरे यार ये तो अच्छा match है, right? Many people put money in the brand. So all these things are becoming much more normal conversations to be able to like see the money grow. And sweat equity is also happening. Brand endorsement is one like model that was there, which will still be there. But apart from that, investing is becoming quite open. About actors being open, all that, I don't know, because I don't talk to all the actors personally. I'll be just very honest. I work with Rana closely. With that, there are many actors that I meet, talk about projects and all that. But they have their own teams. They look at these opportunities to invest, and they decide whether it's worth it or not worth it, whether it falls in there. Everybody has a vision, no? मुझे ये बनना है. So Rana has a vision. So we do lots of things. Like VS Money is a coffee brand that we are part of. We just got Anirudh, musician, into that as a co-founder. Okay. Because he's a musician. Filter Coffee is all about Tamil culture. It just works very well. And we're also part of the company. So we kind of made that happen. Our team made that happen. We just did a tequila brand. We have launched a tequila brand in the US, which has got Rana and Anirudh as the face. Okay. And this is the first ever Indian tequila brand, which is authentic tequila, which means made in Mexico and all that. All the right check boxes, and launched in US. Now we are doing Singapore launch. We bring it to Dubai, UK, and then finally to India sometime. But these things are all being packaged and planned at the team at Spirit Media. So, of course, actors are opening up to these opportunities are happening. This is the brand LOCA that I'm wearing because this is the most recent and exciting project that we have kind of worked on and still working on.
So, what is this project about? Again,
the tequila. This is LOCA. So, LOCA means, LOCA means crazy in Spanish, and LOKA means world in Sanskrit or Hindi. So, Crazy World is the brand name. Oh, wow. Yeah. And we are live in US, selling in 5 states. By November, we'll be live in Singapore. Okay. And slowly coming down to India by next year sometime. So that's something.
So going global and then coming local.
Yeah, because tequila is a global drink right now. US is a mature market. They are drinking tequila. Tequila is a very healthy drink. So they have already adopted that. India is just the top layer has started. So the societies in Bombay, some people in Hyderabad, they all sip tequila.
So you're bringing back your decade experience around Diageo and all the drinks to
you have to know. Back. Otherwise, what's the point of all the experience? You have to kind of tie it all together and be like, let's try and see a bigger benefit for all the stakeholders. But yeah, it's just things fall together as long as you're just keeping yourself free by doing all the things as soon as they come on your plate.
So how has been your overall experience around Hyderabad? I'll just lighten up the conversation. We'll go out of the Tollywood zone.
Yes.
बहुत हो गया Tollywood, and I don't want to put you in a कहीं गलत जगह पे कुछ पूछ के, which is why I'm not asking more about Tollywood part. So let's get back to you. So I'll circle back to you, Rajeev. Since our podcast is called TUFFStory, what are those moments which have been tough in your life? Like आपने तो वहाँ upside ही देखा है life में, या did you see any downsides? Except ByteDance, I feel is a downside. I mean, a phase where you felt that.
नहीं यार, I mean downside नहीं होता है. There are these momentary like
challenges
that you face, and where that becomes like whether you will be able to break it or not, whether you will be able to move forward, etc. वो तो होते रहते हैं ना. वो तो अभी भी होते हैं, because like I said, if your problems are not getting bigger means you're not growing in life.
But why do you need to get the problems bigger? चल रही है गाड़ी, चलने दो ना.
No, but if you're not solving something big, that means you're not growing in life, because then the गाड़ी same road पे चलेगी ना. You have to elevate the गाड़ी.
बट सर आप अच्छी खासी मूवीज चल रही थी, अब सडनली बाहुबली बनाओगे तो फिर अगली बार और बाहुबली 2 ही बनानी पड़ेगी ना. शांति से चल रही थी गाड़ियाँ, क्यों? अब राजमौली साहब ने भी तो पूरा खराब कर दिया सिस्टम. जब अब सबको बड़ा बड़ा ही करना है, और उस चक्कर में कितने लोग की बैंड बज रही है. यू ऑल्सो नो दैट.
बट वही है ना, देन पीपल नीड टू डिसाइड वेदर लाइक वो करना है नहीं करना है. अगेन इट्स अबाउट many things. You create P&L, you create your marketing study, you create your कि जैसे for example कल की थी, right? We were the people like Spirit Media, Rana and Pratiksha, we were involved in taking Kalki to Comic-Con. Kalki was the first movie from India that went to Comic-Con.
Okay.
Because we knew the kind of scale the Kalki is planning. सिर्फ इंडिया रेवेन्यू से नहीं हो पाया काम. It has to do well worldwide. And how that happens? You have to go to place where the international movies are marketed. So we went to Hall H, which is where Avengers and all these trailers are showcased for the first time. All the panels happen, and that was a movie that opened there. So when scale gets bigger, you also find solution to make more money, right? तो किसी ना किसी को करना पड़ेगा. So for me, that's separate about movies. My life is not just movies. My life is many things. I'm honestly not a movie producer. I'm a guy who runs a company that one function of that is movies. And there are producers who work. My job is to support them with all the legal, finances, every other element they might need to be able to do their job peacefully. And so those P&Ls, every movie has a different job. This movie is only for platform. This movie is only OTT. This will do well theatrically because इसमें ये है. ये इस मार्केट में काम करेगी because इसमें ये फैमिली एंगल अच्छा है. इसमें एक्शन अच्छा है तो यहाँ पे काम करेगी. तो वो सब प्लान करना पड़ता है. You can't just do blindly. मेरे को बस प्रॉब्लम चाहिए. I can't go with Lahari Singh road पे मेरे को प्रॉब्लम दो. It's about me getting newer challenges in life and doing that. So we're talking about my tough moments. There have been many. I mean, of course, when I moved from Jharkhand to Bombay, not knowing the language, not knowing what I'm going to do next, and not able to...
But that age was a challenging phase anyway.
Yeah.
Like most of us go through a challenge in that age.
Yeah.
But after that, once you shifted to Bombay and then थोड़ा गाड़ी सब step by step हो गई है.
Think about here, no? When I moved to Hyderabad, I'm working with a company that's 60 years old, Swiss Productions, as a compound, right? Everybody is Telugu speaking. I'm a North Indian who doesn't know the language. Now for me to get accepted by all the guys who have been there for their first job and last job is here only. They've not left because the company is such, right? There are, I think Swiss Production has about 2,000 odd employees across because they own a lot of theatres, so many districts. But here in the studio itself, there are about easily 200 to 250 people. And they all have been there for 25 years or so. So to be able to get them to accept me as a person who is trying to create some strategy, work with Suresh sir, work with Rana, etc., and be like, just rally with me and help me maneuver this. It was a challenge. But those challenges that you cannot say, okay, I'll not deal with this. I have to do this. That's a thing you have to work on and get ahead of this. I've just become a father like 15 days ago, like I mentioned offline, right? It'll come with its new challenges. But again,
those are good challenges.
To manage time, work.
No, those are good challenges. I mean, those are challenges you would love to...
On the other side, because I have to optimize my time at office.
You have to deliver multiple places.
Yes. So that'll bring new challenges at office. तो होगा ही होगा. And when I went to Symbiosis, for example, the fee was still a lot. Scholarship I got, but you got later. First you have to pay the initial fees and get the credit line sorted from the bank loan, whatever it is. Getting the bank approval because our land is all in Jharkhand in a small village which is Naxal covered was not happening. So for a few weeks, almost a month, looked like I might not be able to join this college. So those things have happened. I'm still sure as and when I progress in life, it will keep happening. But the idea is that since the journey has been upward, as long as I'm going to stick to the checklist and doing my basics right, बोलते हैं ना क्रिकेट में भी do your ones and twos, hit boundaries when the time is right, don't try and take too many risks. But be diligent on it and then things will keep working out. So nothing that I want to sob about, nothing that I want to highlight.
So next time I think कि यार बहुत टेंशन है, I'll think about you. नहीं और चाहिए टेंशन,
नया टेंशन चाहिए और
नया टेंशन चाहिए
और नहीं चाहिए एक चीज़ का, वो करना है फिर
फाइंड हो गया, ये रेप्लिकेट इसका सॉल्व हो गया है.
Yes.
Very interesting. I wanted to ask about like I was watching a Netflix series, I'm forgetting the name right now, जिसमें काजोल भी है and Lush Stories I recall it now. I'm a गजनी guy, so थोड़ा टाइम लगता है आते आते. टॉपिक आ गया था बट नाम नहीं आ रहा था. So they talk about creative freedom and stuff, like artists love to do something different. Have you seen the series?
The stories, yeah, I've seen
है ना,
series. I've seen there are two parts, I think.
two seasons. I mean, there was small videos ही है.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a time pass series. I mean, I'm more surprised with Rana's Rana Naidu.
Yeah.
Like मैं खुशी से पागल हो गया था मूवी सीरीज देख रहा, क्या मस्त है. और मैं आई वॉक a lot in the morning, I talk a lot in the morning in my morning circles. So like I have 6:30 real estate gang, 7:30 IT gang, fan group है, मेरे अलग सर्कल्स है. मैं सब में जाके मार्केटिंग कर रहा था. अंकल आपने देखा क्या है उसमें? मैंने कहा वेंकटेश है. अब अपना वेंकटेश इज लाइक वेंकन्ना इज लाइक अ गुड गाय इन द इंडस्ट्री, लाइक यू नो, जैसे हिंदी में मुझे नाम नहीं याद आ रहा वैसे
he is the ideal husband
and then I look at him in this series. So what do you think, like is it a creative requirement or is it like why do these actors do these kind of things?
Okay, so this has been answered many times by Suresh sir and Venki sir, Rana and Venki sir themselves many times, and
I have never seen it.
We have been part of the discussions and all that. See, the world is changing, right? Earlier people used to watch cinema, then TVs happened, TV was with family, then came mobile phones, OTT and all that, and became personal viewing, right? The type of content also has been changing. पहले मतलब adulterated movies आती थी थिएटर में.
पर्सनल व्यूइंग होता है तो आप सिटी के पूरे बैनर्स नहीं लगाते हो ना, जहाँ बच्चे भी देख रहे हैं उसको. हाँ. और बच्चे आके पूछ रहे हैं पापा मुझे भी ये सीरीज देखनी है, और फर्स्ट सीन देख के ही पड़ जाती है कि ये क्या था भाई.
Yeah, no, but if you
you got my context, right?
100% I got your context, and that really I'll be very honest with you, like all of us while this series was being shot, we knew the series, we knew the how edgy it was and all that, and that was a constant conversation about how to take care of it. So every interview, if you see every interview where Rana has literally shouted on top of his voice to the entire press, this is a show about family but not to be watched with your family. Every interview he did that.
This is a show for
This is a show about a family.
About a family, but not
to be watched with family. Do not. Everywhere. Now, that is one part that we try and take care of. Netflix is a gatekeep. Parents are supposed to be, it's already warnings and all that are there. Right? So, thoda sa hota na, as a parent, you have to also be careful about what kids should watch.
Right.
Marketing is one aspect of that. Second answer, because the platforms are changing, now many of the viewership happening, like theaters are not doing well, right? OTT platform are doing well because people are now not going to theater, they're waiting for the movie to come, XYZ. So the actor also have to rediscover themselves. You can keep doing the same kind of movies which many actors are doing, but are they working always? No.
Chiranjeevi Saab is a good example. Like he's trying Acharya and last movie, but it didn't work out.
I mean,
sometimes you have to try something different.
Many actors are trying like same old things, but doesn't really always
work.
So if you're an actor who likes challenges, and I think Rana always said, he doesn't like doing same things twice, and he doesn't like doing what has already been done before. So he knew that he wanted to work with Venki sir, but not in a typical father-son जो होता है, बहुत सारे लोग करते हैं उस तरह से काम. And when this story came, he was the guy responsible for getting him to agree.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was Rana's thing, let's try and do this because it'll be damn cool. And it was, right? People who kind of saw Venki sir's acting chops. He doesn't speak Hindi, by the way. He doesn't speak Hindi. Yeah.
Okay.
But in the series, he spoke in Hindi. He had a
सिर्फ गालियाँ दी थी ना.
He had dialect coach telling him in the ear, but still मतलब वो
नहीं, बट गालियाँ दी थी ना उन्होंने, क्या हिंदी शब्द भी बोला था?
बहुत कुछ बोला यार.
मैंने सिर्फ गालियाँ सुनाई दे रही थी उनके मुंह.
नहीं, आप गजनी हो ना. बहुत डायलॉग्स है, बहुत इमोशनल डिस्कशन था, बहुत सारे फाइट्स हैं between both them, crazy scenes, right? And he was able to deliver. So massive respect as an actor. Many people have.
No, it was an amazing.
That thing about many people tuning in with their family, that backlash happened because many people did that. But all those people went and watched that series after. Nevertheless, they all went, made their kids sleep, and they're like, "Let's finish this because it's good."
मजा आया.
हाँ, सबने देखा, सबने वही बोला कि यार हमने शुरू किया था फैमिली के साथ, भगाया बाद में. We watched it later because it was so good. And I think in the history of Netflix, this was the Netflix, this was the series most quickly greenlit for season 2. पता है? The same day it released, same day, without even any phone calls, they sent a creative saying season 2 coming soon. Same day.
Okay. But normally budget approvals and all this thing, that delay होता है.
हाँ. कुछ नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, कोई phone call नहीं, कुछ नहीं. सीधा वो बोला कि अब Insta पे post कर दो ये. Because it did so well. It's the only series from the country that featured in top 100 worldwide. Only series. So
Because no one expected this to ever happen. Like इस तरह से.
But you know, it's a requirement of the audience. It's a platform requirement. So you cannot be like नहीं यार but आप तो ऐसे हो वही करना है. You have to reinvent yourself. No, business नहीं चल रहा है आप वहाँ पे कुछ चला रहे हो. You have to figure out what is wrong and how to fix it, and how to try newer things to be able to learn from it. So to be able to like be in that zone as well instead of trying to be like नहीं बस यही सही है, because not always the same tested market is going to always sustain.
So lesson learned, basically things keep getting advanced, dynamic. You need to keep trying new things, even though it comes at a cost.
Yeah, sometimes it comes at a cost, but if you don't test your waters, you'll not be able to create the larger.
But sometimes aren't these waters too extreme? Like, I mean, if you have watched Lush Stories, you'll get my point of what I'm referring to about Kajol. I mean, I look at Kajol from कुछ होता है, and later look at Ajay Devgan. When I look at Kajol, Ajay दिखता है बाजू में. And now we look at this series and like, ये क्यों इन्होंने ये क्यों करने, इनके पैसे की कमी है नहीं, इन्होंने ये क्यों किया? क्रिएटिव के क्या बोलते, क्रिएटिव फ्रीडम के नाम पे. Why?
See, first of all, think about this. Like, आप जो काम कर रहे हो आज, ठीक है, आप पूरी लाइफ वही काम करोगे?
Not really, but
you will like kind of pivot, right?
Right.
Something. Many startups, they're trying new things, etc. They pivot and they become successful. Many startups have had. Art is a field that is very subjective, right? What you like, I might not like. What I like, you might not like. Genuinely, like many things that I market, I might not like them. But मेरा job है through marketing. I'll market because that's the job. Many products I might not like, right? By saying that I'll not be able to market your product, that's my job. But I have to always keep my game up, knowing what is working in society, what people are liking, how they are thinking, etc. How the definition of things are changing, right? Many of these actors, like, you know how the industry operates overall. Heroes remain longer for relevance because that's how the Indian market is. Of course, because they get people in theaters, XYZ, fandom is more, women become obsolete and all that. Many times they don't get to like really solve for their calling, what they want to do, XYZ. And sometimes challenging project comes, sometimes they want to
take it,
right? Because it's not only to make money, it's not to get spent
to stay relevant maybe, or
no, it can be many, just to be able to like, you know, be like ठीक है यार मैंने
कुछ तो किया मैंने,
family बड़ा कर दिया, अभी मेरा have to do something for myself. Many people do that, no? Even our family.
मेरे बैक ऑफ द माइंड वही चल रहा है. हाँ. फैमिली को क्या दिखा रहे हो कि मैंने 4 साल के ब्रेक के बाद मैंने ये किया है, ये सीरीज देखो
ना, वो बोल देंगे फैमिली मत देखो. हमारे यहाँ like we told people not to watch in the family, like, so you can say that, no, family has the communication, because it's not like your friends,
curiosity,
your friends group WhatsApp chat, your kids will not read, no?
हाँ.
Right? Even
this is not WhatsApp ना सर, ये तो दुनिया के सामने चिपका रहे हैं.
It's not on TV, no. This is gatekeep. You are buying subscription. As a parent, you are controlling the access, right? So this is behind a paywall. You can censor it if you want. That's why OTTs are there, and many people will debate other way around, right? I want to be able to watch. I want to. Like, I mean, are you like when India right now when they ban the porn? There's a lot of debates about it. यार जिसको देखना उसको देखने दो. अभी there are many websites and all that. So actors should be allowed. Like अभी मतलब Animal का ही देख लो ना. So much of debate.
Wanga.
Correct. Sandeep Reddy Wanga, the greatest guy. We should, like, if you're talking about movies and content and edginess and all that, we should first talk about him. What a guy. Like, whether you hate him or like him, but just look at him.
It's also, I agree. It's also a taste.
So art is supposed to, like, make you speak. That's the definition of art, right? Like, whether good or bad.
It should make a dialogue around it. Yeah. Like, others should discuss about it.
So, बना रहे हैं, आपको नहीं देखना पसंद नहीं, मत देखो. बच्चों के पहले, अगर as long as they're not old enough, it's your choice what to show them or not to show them. YouTube has a kids version. All the apps are not really like available. TV censor होता है. Theater में there's certificates and all that. OTT is अभी भी self-regulated है. I'm sure there are many people talking about many kind of censorship and all that. But वो will remain open. जिसको जो अपना personal चीज़ें experiment करना है, in that budget they can do it, and that's why so many good things are also coming out of all these experiments, right? Otherwise same movie वही है, भाई बिछड़ गए, गुंडा हो गया, मतलब वही चल रहा था ना. Think about it.
That's there completely.
Ramgopal Verma came and changed some things for the industry. Then Anurag Kashyap came and changed some things for the industry. These guys are only ones who experiment. Otherwise सब formula पे ही चल रहे थे. So OTT not coming in, things started becoming ठीक है. So out of 100%, 30% might be bad, but you're also getting 70% that you like, no?
True.
अदरवाइज वो भी नहीं आता आपके पास.
वो भी नहीं
आपको फिर फॉर्मूला मिलता है सब फिक्स वाला कि भाई बस यही देखो, एक्शन वो उड़ रहा है, वो मार रहा है, वो मतलब
रोहित शेट्टी का एक ही टेम्पलेट उनका तो अभी भी चल रहा है, बट ठीक है.
करेक्ट, बट नहीं चला ना. सर्कस डिड नॉट डू वेल.
But again, they are back with a new movie, which is again on the same platform. What is this?
Singham.
Return. The trailer was a short movie itself, 5 minutes trailer.
Yeah, that's what people are saying. A lot of tweets about that.
But I'm expecting a big movie. This time it might work out.
Yeah.
Correct. When they have multiple stars and everything, again Akshay is back in his A game again.
Yeah. I think again pandemic ke baad, it was Rohit Shetty who literally brought the industry back to theatre. Suryavanshi had come and I went to watch it. I was so emotional that day. Not because I love movies and all those things only, but genuinely I felt like world is becoming normal. Pata hai? After being locked in your home, trying to watch everything on a screen alone without like, when you laugh, you feel like an idiot. But in theatre, when you laugh, everybody else laughs as well, right?
Right.
So Suryavanshi, like again,
I think they delayed the movie also, right, to launch it in the theatre so that audience could come.
It literally got everybody back in theatre. It was the first movie that kind of really did that business. So credits where it's due, and everybody will make bad things, average things you will not like, somebody will like it. But as long as you're getting your good stuff, just be thankful that bad stuff will keep coming. Every industry has that, no? Everything cannot be perfect. Everyone cannot be a topper. True. There'll be that curve on whole distribution की तो कोई topper रहेंगे, कोई बीच में रहेगा, कोई last में खराबी बनाएंगे.
It's all about accepting everything. कुछ अच्छा निकलेगा, बुरा निकलेगा. And again, personal taste है. मुझे जो अच्छा लगा वो आपको नहीं लगेगा. जो मुझे पसंद है वो आपको नहीं लगेगा. So बट इंटरेस्टिंग है, मतलब बहुत हम कहाँ से कहाँ चले गए.
एग्जैक्टली हम बहुत घूमे हैं. रियल एस्टेट बेच दिया हमने, मूवीज बना ली, हमने टफ स्टोरी बारे में बात कर ली. वेरी आई हैड अ लॉट ऑफ फन टाइम. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Yeah. It was fun talking to you, learning about a lot of stuff. So thanks Rajeev.
Thank you very much Amit. Thank you very much. Great.
I think it was a long conversation. I think 2 घंटे के ऊपर हो गए तो.
Really?
Yes.
I felt it was going beyond, but I had a great time talking to you. So I don't want to like put a stop to it. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you guys for watching, and please share and subscribe.
ये मेरा भी काम कर दिया आज आपने.
मीडिया नहीं, सी मार्केटिंग नो.
चलिए, टेक केयर गाइस, सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन. थैंक यू वेरी मच. गुड बाय.
अगर आपको ये पॉडकास्ट पसंद आया है तो लाइक करना ना भूलें, और टफ स्टोरी को यूट्यूब और सारे सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर फटाफट से फॉलो और सब्सक्राइब भी कर दीजिए. ऐसी इंटरेस्टिंग और इंस्पायरिंग कंटेंट के लिए मिलते हैं हम आपसे हमारे अगले एपिसोड में. तब तक के लिए गुड बाय.